afternoon and welcome to Sandown International Motor Raceway for Trophy Tour Victoria. A great reinvention on some awesome racing here at Sandown. This is Wolfchester, Sandown round number 1. We've got 5 rounds this year. Round 2 will be the 888 Home Loans Core Revive on March 20, 21 and 22. We then head up to Winton for May 1 and 2. August 7, 8 and 9 will have us back here at Sandown. And the grand final at the Island, October 2 through to 4. But let's get underway with Trophy Tour Victoria, round number 1, Wolfchester. I'm Darren Smith, and right here with me is Emma Dean. How good is it to get the Trophy Tour underway for 2026?
It's been a long break, Darren. I've been hanging to get back to the track. But first of all, happy Valentine's Day, lovers. It's a great way to spend your Valentine's Day. Get it down to the track. Woo! There we go. But I'm actually really looking forward, Darren, to the Saloon cars this weekend. The guys are back. They're raring to go. Love that door-to-door action. Although I've been told they're not allowed to do door-to-door this weekend, so let's see what they do.
Well, certainly there is plenty of categories that we're going live with here this weekend, so really looking forward to that. The big bangers, the sports sedans, not sure whether you can hear the Gilliland RX-7 warming up in the background there, but that's what it's all about. The big bangers, Darren Hossack's out there also this weekend. Looking forward to that. 40 XLs. Let's see how the young Ellsworthy fella can back up after his time at Phillip Island last year as well. We got Formula Ford and Formula V. I always wanted to race a Formula Ford, never did, but get to race call them. So really looking forward to seeing the 2 Formula categories going for it there as well. We've touched on saloon cars. MG invited British cars as well. Really looking forward to seeing how the big fast cars go, and also Mike Trathen in the number 1 car keeping up. He doesn't back off. It's like a go-kart, so really looking forward to seeing how those categories go. Improved production. We had a great time at Phillip Island in November with the Nationals. They've bounced back. They had over 100 cars at Phillip Island. I think there's like nearly 30 cars here this weekend.
Absolutely. That IPRA session with Island Magic was phenomenally successful. Congratulations to the guys. But we have another surprise down here off track this weekend, Darren. We've got Maddie Dunlop in the pits roaming for some interviews.
Looking forward to that. Also looking forward to welcoming everyone up to Red Hill. $10 for a carload of people. Come up there, bring the barbie, your chairs. Have a great weekend. Of course, the grandstand is open. Of course, you're welcome to the pit and paddock area. Let's get into it. Through the magic of TV, we have jumped straight into the commentary booth, and we are looking at a very classy field of saloon cars. Again, I'm Darren Smith, and right alongside me is Emma Dean for this opening race of the Trophy Tour for 2026. A big shout out to Wolfchester. Thank them for coming on board. They've got their activation, their display down in Trade Alley, which is kind of on the way from the pits through to the grandstand in that area just behind the viewing mount. If you're looking on the screen now, it is just before the pit exit there, down in behind there. Jump down there, see the team from Wolfchester. They've got about 7 or 8 people down there, so you won't have to queue up to get your best product that you need. Automotive, truck and bus, engineering and manufacturing, agriculture and earth-moving, industrial. They've got the chemicals, the additives, auto-electric consumables, power tools, hand tools, hose clamps, all sorts of assortments for nuts, bolts and fasteners, sealants and adhesives, storage systems, abrasives, surface preparation. What else could you need? It's awesome to have Wolfchester on as the Wolfchester Sandown Challenge gets underway.
Do you need a breath, Darren?
No, I'm just so happy that Wolfchester have jumped on board. And it is interesting because both Glenn and Trent are ex-racers and of note. I mean, not ex-racers, they're current racers, and they are of absolute note. They're actually at the big dance at Mount Panorama this weekend. So a big shout out to the 2 guys, the 2 directors from Wolfchester. But we've got John and all of his crew down there in Trade Alley. Really looking forward to seeing a great show being put on for round 1 of the Trophy Tour Vic, and Wolfchester absolutely playing a huge part of it. We're getting some shots now down there through the marshalling area before race 1 for this brand new Trophy Tour for 2026. And it's Kieran Pridmore on pole and Deegan right alongside, Preen, right alongside in car number 38. First time on the front row there on the grid for Deegan. Scotty Dornan in behind there, and the previous champion as well there, Daniel Johnson, on position number 4. We had a bit of a chat down there in the beautiful sunshine just before coming to Air M. So much going on, so many great categories, and this trophy tour is really going to light up. Great live streaming, as we've done for many seasons before. The crew from Blendline TV, absolutely on point, spot on every time we go to air. So really looking forward to us putting the story, I guess, to the great pictures that those guys produce out there on track.
That's right, Darren. And for those people who haven't really planned out their Saturday or Sunday yet, there's still time to get down here. We're just starting racing. It is a fantastic event. You have full access to the garages and the drivers and the teams. You can poke around wherever you want. It's not separate ticketed areas, so you can come on down and enjoy the whole thing and get right up and close and personal with grassroots motorsport.
I can tell you what I would be doing. I'd be getting on the WhatsApp with all your mates out there and saying, hey, let's meet up at Red Hill.
Yeah.
If you've got a 5-seater, put 5 people in it, because it's only $10 you can get in up at Red Hill there. A big shout out to people that are gradually making their way to the track here. We know that people have got school sports and different hobbies, but race day Sunday, get out here bright and early. In fact, I know some people that are going to be out here bright and early because they want to see the Saloon cars and the XLs. 2 great fields. We've got 23 Saloon cars making their way out at this event, the Accurate Plumbing Group Saloon cars. So great to have the Accurate Plumbing Group jumping on board with an ultra competitive category here. And this is Aussie motorsport, isn't it? This is still and the only Ford versus Holden battle that you can see. You're
not supposed to have favourites, Darren, but I actually do. This is my favourite at the Trophy Tour. So I was having a chat with Andy McSwain down there from driveevents.com.au, and I didn't know that the AU race cars are all bought up, sold, gone. You can't buy another one, find another one. So it's a matter of finding an AU shell.
Have a look at this, Kane Baxter-Smith. That's a bit of strategy play right there. Look at that, arriving late at the onto the grid there. And he's back in 7th too. So if that's not a headline, I don't know what is. But going to be really cool to watch Kane use his skill and ability and talent at the wheel to push his way forward. You touched on earlier in the opening remarks that they've been sort of told not to do the literal door-handle-to-door handle racing.
Yeah, apparently there was a little bit too much panel damage out the budget last year. So they just want to keep it a little bit cleaner, but I just don't know how you do that. These cars they're fun. They're fun to watch. They're super fun to watch, everyone, so please stay tuned in. But they are hard to handle, especially when you're competing. When you've got 3 of you wide going into turn 1 and they're jostling, they're not the most precision controllable car. So
we watched them coming down the straight, getting some heat into the Bridgestones there, giving them a good wobble around. But certainly these guys, they can get quite willing. But then again, the form of racing it's akin to the 9-foot as well. The fierce racing. The torrid racing, as long as we're not getting mirrors ripped off and panel damage, because that just absorbs the budget. And at some point in the season, you don't do a round because you just spent all your money fixing up the car. But these cars are looking great. There was some panel damage last year, but they fixed them all up and they look brand new for the brand new Trophy Tour here at Wolfchester Sandown. Great shot, this static shot coming out of turn 4, always very entertaining. In fact, we can see just right next to the red circle on the Pertec, the other Blendline TV camera, which grabs that shot down between turns 1, 2 and up to 3 there. One of the more action shots you will get in at Sandown as the field comes around. Let's have a look at that grid sheet. As I said, Kieran Pridmore goes off P1. Deegan Preen, first time on the front row of the grid on P2. Scotty Dornan out of P3. Daniel Johnson in his Falcon. Kevy Stoopman. How good is it to see Kev Stoopman back there? You can check out all of his story at the Grassroots Racing podcast. A really good story. Kev's been around for a long, long time. Travis Lindorf is next. Kane Baxter-Smith out of 7th. Jacob Prestopino in the 99. He'll come out of 8th. Jason Cruz is next. Then it's Kerry Bright. Justin Shembry just outside the 10 there for Justin. Good to see him pushing up the field. David Lyons out of 12. Then Andrew McSwain in the 34, the driver Ben's car. Alex Handley. Then we go back, the ex-off-roader and ex-ski racer, Alex Handley. So he's done every form of motorsport just about now. We go to William Harris, back to Chris Jackson, Matt Yeager, Cody Cartledge, George Papagiorgio. Great to see George back as well. He tried his hand at some commentary last year. Mark Franco, Chris Handley, and Adam Lowndes, car number 19, coming from the rear of the grid. I hadn't actually cast my eye all the way back there, Em, and I was wondering where Adam was. That is going to be something to watch. Car number 19 coming from the rear of the grid. Didn't qualify. So the Pro Plum car, there he is, number 19. We'll keep our eye out for that dark car with its chrome Pro Plum signage on the side.
Yeah, Mark Franzo, it's actually his first ever race today, Darren, so good luck to Mark out there. Certainly
it will be a baptism of fire. Adam Lowndes will give him a quick come by, I would suggest, before turn number 1. Let's see how the next 11 and a half minutes take place. Some shortened races here this afternoon. Sadly, there was some fence damage here at the track that obviously has to be rectified before we go racing for safety's sake, and that is for race drivers, officials and fans alike. So that repair has been done. Race controller pedalling very, very hard, and away we go. Kieran Pridmore transfers the weight, gets away very, very nicely indeed. David Lyons in the new livery comes through. There goes Lowndes. He's got about 6 cars and he hasn't even come to the start-finish line there. He is absolutely in a hurry. Had a great year last year. Let's look right at the front. Tip it in. Pridmore to Green, the double P, Fox Roofing in the Accurate Plumbing Group Saloon cars. Under brakes, he's got the inside. Pridmore knows how to do it. The 66 holds on. It's the first or the second of the Falcons there in Damien Johnson. And there is Kane Baxter Smith. He's walked from 7th up to 4th before turn 3. And where's Lowndes? He's smack bang just outside of the top 10. So he's got himself about 12 cars off the start.
I don't know how they've managed to do it, Darren, but they're halfway through the first lap and no door slapping yet.
Well, let's keep it clean. The cars are looking terrific. Kane Baxter Smith, though, coming through on Scotty Dornan. Scotty Dornan is an ace racer. We all know Kane Baxter Smith's a talented guy at the wheel. As we watch Deegan Preen, he's gone back a little bit at the moment as the cars come out of turn 9. Come underneath the Penrite 100. Will be a great historic Phillip Island this year, as that's going to be called, the Penrite 100 Historic Phillip Island. So looking forward to that in the weeks to come. Onto the straight for the first time. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. The Trophy Tour Victoria, Wolfchester Sandown underway, and that is competition lap number 1 for the year underway. And Kieran Pridmore leads the way to Preen, Dornan, Damien Johnson, Kevin Stoopman. He's coming at it in the number 12. He's gone down the inside of Baxter Smith and gets done too. So that's a nice manoeuvre there. These two have been battling it out for years. Kevin, absolute veteran of Australian motorsport. HQ's improved production. All sorts, all forms. Speedway, I think, even last weekend, Kev was at the wheel of. And he decided, I want to get a bit of this trophy tour. Lowndes getting the power down out of turn number 4 and getting it sideways. There's Lowndes right at the back of shot now. So he's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Started out of position 24 and he's up to 10th. That man has got that Commodore and he is wringing its neck. 111 Automotive. Car number 12, down there into turn 1. Kevin Stoopman, looking good. Our leaders now, charging up to the final complex. It's right, hang on, flick it back left. These cars really do fight the driver. And that Commodore just easing around there. The tradition, the Holden versus Ford battle. This is the true home of it now here in Australia. Saloon car racing, inline 6-cylinder. For the Fords and the V6 for the Commodores as they come down under the braking area. Pridmore leads. Green, Stoopman has just gone back a couple of spots there as well. So just watching for the timing to catch up. There goes Lyons Getting a good run there. David Lyons started out at 12, has gone up to 11. Very brightly livery car right behind him. And that is the 45 there of Kerry Bright, I guess by name and by nature.
It's a tall order to have 24 of these cars out on track, Darren, and not have any door slapping. But they're doing so well so far. I'm particularly watching Mark Franz, and he's doing well on his first race out.
Yeah, I think he might have blinked and missed Lounsey coming through on him there, but Ads really did get through. I think he had 6 before they got to the start line. Now this is what we want. Pridmore now challenging Preen. A yellow flag. There's a yellow flag and a green flag out just past there. So a waved yellow before the Penrite 100 bridge, and then a green flag coming into that braking zone into the complex coming onto the straight now. Pridmore poised.
He's really pressuring Preen there, isn't he, Darren?
Yeah, Daniel Johnson. He is the next car in that
Here we
pack.
go. Here we go. Oh, Karen Pridmore for the takeover in turn 1. Oh, spoke too soon.
That's nice. That's good. Goes over the back of the ripple strip there. In years gone by, you'd be on the grass and looping it by now, but that hard stand that went in about 10 years ago, big understeer, and there's a bit of exhaust pipe right in the middle of the track. Pridmore in the 66 goes through to the lead, straight past the Wolfchester sign, and away we go. Kevy Stupin, almost all 4 wheels over the ripple strip and almost the right-hand side into the wall. He saves it and gathers it for another day. I've got to say, this is water finding its level. These 5 guys at the front are absolutely on it. I guess Kane Baxter-Smith, he's just off the back of this group. But Pridmore's gone back 2 spots now. Just in this last quarter lap, the 66 has lost to Scotty Dornan. I fully expect Scotty Dornan to come at them absolute gangbusters.
The other thing I'm noticing, Darren, too, is that I don't think everyone is on new tyres. There seems to be a lot of tyre management going on here with a few scrub sets.
And it's interesting as well because the Bridgestone being on the Saloon cars, really, for a long, long time, they were the only category that ran a controlled Bridgestone. Improved production nationally now have come across to a Bridgestone tyre as well. Getting a good look at this is Matt Yeager. And he's batting it out with Alan Handley. So Matt Yeager started out of 19th and Handley out of 14. So he's trying to pick up. So Handley has gone back a couple of spots. And around goes Matt Yeager. And a little bit of damage. So there it is. And in fact, that exhaust is dragging on the road there as well. Very, very dry out in the outfield, pretty much like the rest of the state at the moment. And there's a bumper not intact with that car as well as we look back at the front of this field. And this is a ripping drive by the number 38. First time on the front row of the grid and now leading the race in a comprehensive margin at 1.4 seconds for this lead here, Deegan Preen. That's like a millennium in these cars because what's happening on behind is this battle. Look at the 56 of Kane Baxter-Smith. He's got Lowndes right in the back of him there as well. Underneath the Penrite Bridge they go. Lowndes looks to the inside and outside. Baxter-Smith is like, I've gone back to position number 6. I'm not going to let you through, mate. I've seen you drive. What a drive, and I'll congratulate you after it, but you're not going to get past this AU without wanting it more than I do. So Lowndes, power down.
But Baxter-Smith and Lowndes, these are 2 phenomenal drivers. This is what I mean. These cars aren't the easiest to manage. And DJ in shot there as well, coming up on the back of Karen Pridmore. These drivers are so skilled in these cars. They're handling them beautifully. So you know when they do come nose to tail that it's going to be really, really exciting because they can manage it.
What about checking out underneath these cars as they bounce through I guess it's a chicane. They're right up over the ripple strips and giving us a good look on the underside of a competitive AU Falcon.
I mean, seriously, when don't you love it when a car can chew a chicane like that? It's so nice when they can just go over them, get onto 2 wheels, even 1 wheel in some cases, depending on how fast and how furious they're going. But there are so many categories that have to avoid those. This is a nice kind of bash about category. I love it.
These guys bounce over it as well. Baxter-Smith now, lights ablaze. Lowndes draws alongside. This is awesome. This is Saloon Cars at the Trophy Tour for 2026. down the inside. Baxter Smith hangs on. Lowndes drops in behind. Have a look at who's lurking in the background here as well. The 99, a big lock-up. That's Jacob Prestopino. He grabs it. Ooh, boy, Jacob Prestopino in that newly relifted car. Always competitive.
None of these guys are giving up, Darren. This is the one to watch. This is the race within a race. I love seeing this. There's always mid-pack races with these guys, and none of these three drivers are going to give up at all. No one's giving any gifts away this Valentine's Day.
What is interesting, yeah, that's true. What is interesting, is that, well, certainly the retailers have told the spend's been down on Valentine's Day, but the Accurate Plumbing Group saloon cars side by side. Lowndes, Kane Baxter Smith. Now, this is a couple of dudes that have raced each other for a long time. They're giving each other just the right amount of room. Baxter Smith just eases on the steering wheel, gets the run down to 2 and 3, and the flip-flop again, giving us a good look under the Commodore and the Falcon. Wow, the 99 here, Jacob Prestopino, he could have this handed to him any minute now.
I love that camera angle. Can we get that all the time, everywhere? That's the best. These guys were definitely at the driver briefing, and they're doing their very best not to knock doors off each other, but it's getting so close.
Here we go. We've got 1.5 minutes left in this journey. It will be Deegan Preen, who has led the last 3 laps. Side by side again. Baxter Smith not up halfway up the car there. Just allows Lowndes to go through there. Oh, and the 99 goes really wide. Jacob Prestopino, 4 wheels over the back of the ripple strip. And he gathers it all back up in the 99. Now Baxter Smith's looking at the front window. I think he's torn the mirror off and said, don't care what's going on behind me. I do not want Lowndes, who started, 15 positions behind me, to just drive away. But this is beautiful driving at the moment. Kieran Pridmore's the fastest car on track with a 1:24.19. Let's have a bit of a look, see if we've got one on Lowndes. His best lap at 1:25.52, because he's been battling traffic all the way through here. There's the 12 of Kevy Stupin doing a tremendous job. And here's this battle that's got us absolutely enthralled.
You know what, Darren? It's easy to love the person that's coming first, and they're obviously going to get the trophy. But when you see someone like Kane Baxter Smith defending and attacking at the same time, he's got a lot of work on. That's the real work in this race. I love seeing it.
That is a great shot. And sorry, I did mention that Kane had ripped the mirror off the window. He hadn't. It's still intact. I think he's just ignoring it. And please, if you're watching on at home on our live stream, be careful to not dodge the car as it comes out past the Wolfchester sign there. Great little static shot that the crew of Blendline TV have mounted there, and it really does come at you. Pull your seat up nice and close to the TV, and it's like you're on a roller coaster ride coming through turn 4. Dornan now with Johnson. This is cars 3 and 4 on the road. It's Dornan leading the way now. Johnson into P2, and there it is, Kane Baxter Smith. It's come to tears. I would have suggested that it's probably Baxter Smith and Prestopino that may have just got a little bit vigorous with each other. And we, on our last lap, I would suggest, as the leader has gone across the line. So where does that bring Kane Baxter Smith back to? We'll wait and see. So Prestopino moves up a spot. Cruz is having a good drive here, staying really out of the way here. So the number 14 is doing a tremendous job. And there goes car number 50, which is Mark Franzo, the new guy on the block. And there's Kane Baxter Smith. He will not be happy with that. Up the back straight. Now we go with our leader, trying to shake the draft here. Deegan Preen. First time out in front. First time on the front row. Great to see Accurate Plumbing Group saloon cars back in action here at Sandown. Over the ripple strips. Nice bit of work there. Big lock up. The 38 and the 66 goes out in absolute sympathy there. So Pridmore just locks it up straight after Preen had. So we bring the double Ps. They come around through the last couple of corners and front up to take it down the main straight here at Sandown International Motor Raceway. And there it is, the winner of the Accurate Plumbing Group Saloon Cars, race number 1, Deegan Preen, and he is wrapped. And I tell you what, he's beaten one of the really good races. They're giving each other a bit of a sharker out the window. How good's that? The Sedan Hotel sticker emblazoned across the front of that car. It's had some success in numerous people's hands over the year. And we're just seeing that number 50 charging to the line there. Mark Franzo, brand new to the game, lives through another day. Let's have a look at how they finished.
Yeah, Darren, that was an absolute masterclass in handling pressure and tyres. So we finish up with Preen in first, followed very closely by Karen Pridmore. Then Dornan, Johnson, Stoopman in fifth, Lowndes in sixth, Prestipino, Cruz, Baxter Smith in ninth. Yeah, right, Darren, he won't be happy with that, but there's always another race. Lyons, Bright, McSwade, Shembry in 13th. And then we've got Jeske, Handley, Harris, Cartledge, Jaeger, Franzo and Handley in 20th.
Pretty good way to start the trophy tour, Vic, for 2026. What do you think?
Well, if you weren't awake before now, Darren, you are now.
Yeah, absolutely. That is fantastic. Wolfchester Sandown delivering in race number 1, the Accurate Plumbing Saloon cars. We've got a fantastic program coming your way. And, of course, up next will be the XLs on track straight after the XLs. MG and invited British sports cars. Some great new rules there for that category. There's that bit of exhaust pipe, or is it brake ducting, or what is it? I'm not sure from the saloon cars. But as we see the flaggies there, they've down the flags for the races over. And giving a round of applause. I love that. I love it when the trackside marshals lean over the fence, and they've had a good bit of entertainment. In fact, that's probably one of the more entertaining flag points in Australia, because there is always action. Plenty of action. Plenty of yellow flags go out.
Well, that's where all the biffo at Sandown happens, and then at the back of Dandenong.
Not too sure we're recommending biffo there, Em, but
no,
certainly
I love it.
That's where we do have car-to-car contact. Yeah, that is for sure. But certainly, what was I up to? MG invited British sports cars. After that, sports sedans will be the next ones on track. And have a look at this beautiful shot. When you're at a race meeting and you've got a sponsor that, like Wolfchester, that has gone to such a great effort, they have got their shop open. If anyone at the track needs any gear, including a Wolfchester T-shirt, why wouldn't you want to get away with a Wolfchester T-shirt? In fact, everyone looks slimmer in black. Em, I certainly do. So
I'm not going there, Darren.
We'll go with that. But there is the Wolfchester store. They've got the tunes blazing down there. The hose clamps assortments. Ooh, some minties for the minty fresh breath. Looks like rod ends. There's certainly nuts, bolts and fasteners. There's John. Go down and have a word to the guys. They're all down there. Brake cleaner, which is the best in the industry. I don't care what you think about anyone else's brake cleaner. Those guys have the best brake cleaner. And all of those sprays, lubricants, a great company and a great product. Always have nice to have them on board. Safety equipment, cleaning and lubrication, tools, sealants, and much, much more. Saloon Cars will be joining us on track in a couple of moments, and we will have Tom Reed and Matt Dunlop picking up the commentary from there. All the officials are in place right around the track. A big thank you to the MG Car Club that have put this actually first round together here this weekend. Of course, our next event will be the 888 Home Loans Calder Revived event, March 20, 21 and 22. Get your way out there. Winton, May 1 and 2. Sandown, August 7th to 9th here as the Sports Sedan Association puts on the middle of winter event. Always great, and you would not believe it, but just about every year over the last 30 years, it's been one of those gorgeous Melbourne sunny winter days. And, of course, the Island Grand Final, October 2, 3 and 4. You don't have to guess why it's the grand final. We've been calling it that every year anyway. It's normally when the aerial ping pong ball sports have their finals. So why don't motorsport? Why don't we have those finals as well? 1 minute till we get these cars out on track. The XLs. Looking forward to seeing how young Noah Ellsworthy goes after his first race meeting at Phillip Island last year. He's in the pack here today as well. Matty D, welcome to the mic, mate. We've got a busy weekend here with the Trophy Tour, Vic, haven't we?
We certainly do. Not only is it a busy week here, we certainly do, Darren, great to be in the box. Not only do we have a busy week, we've got a busy race coming up. Hyundai XLs are about to get out on track for the first time in 2026. And we have 43 of them lining up. It is a massive, massive grid of Hyundai XLs. And the action is going to be absolutely intense. That man there, William Twining from Tasmania, will be on pole position when they come around to form up in just a moment's time. And as you can see from the shot there, we have an insane grid sheet to work through. So many names, a lot of new faces, a lot of veterans in the Hyundai XL series. And you can see from, it's already 2026, you can see the tyre marks on the side of William Twining's car. You know what these guys are going to be getting up to. These guys and girls are going to be thrashing these machines around this Sandown Raceway. Matt Dunlop is my name, and Tom Reed is joining me in the commentary box. Tom, it is fantastic to have your company in 2026.
Thanks, Matt. Yeah, looking forward to this first call of the year for both of us at the Victorian State Circuit Racing Championships. Round one, of course, presented by Wolf Chester. Having a look here at Will Twining on the grid. They got the 1 minute signal about a minute ago, so they're set to fire out here onto the grid. A huge field of Hyundai XLs. Look all the way up the back there. They're running out of grid spots on the dummy grid towards the back of the paddock, but really looking forward to this one. XLs always provide some awesome racing. Typically, we hope to go green flag for the whole distance, and it's always a big battle on hand.
We do have a little bit of a delay at the moment as yellows are waving down at the back of the track, presumably for a bit of cleanup. So hopefully we'll be underway very, very shortly. But it's probably a good time, actually, to give a shout-out to all the hard-working officials who work here and volunteer in very many cases, because without these marshals and officials, there is no motorsport, as simple as that. So we will be thanking them all throughout the weekend, all throughout the season, but we want to thank all of our friends and community members for their ongoing support of Australian motorsport, because rain, hail, scorching sunshine, beautiful days like today, they're all out there working at the coalface, ensuring the safety and well-being of everyone within the Sandown premises. We've got the Victorian Flag Marshal team, for instance. You can see them there on screen. They're celebrating their 40th anniversary this year, so a massive congratulations and a big shout-out to them for their amazing work. We also want to shout out the Victorian Fire and Rescue Squad, who, you know, they're heroes during the week and the weekend as well. The medical staff, the doctors around the circuit who are on standby all day. It's also a good chance to give a shout-out to the MG Car Club of Victoria for promoting this event and putting in so many volunteer hours after work and into the night. And Motorsport Australia as well for their stewards, their officials, making sure that everything regarding compliance and regulatory boxes, they're all being checked and ticked and everything's being done the right way. And as you can see on screen there, if you want to get involved and get yourself in one of the best seats in the house of motorsport, head to motorsport.org.au and follow the links to find out more details about how to become an official, how to join a car club, or just how to get involved to get yourself where these lovely people are. Whether you're waving a flag, whether you're cleaning up, whether you are directing cars through pit lanes. We can't go racing without them, so massive shout out. And it's one of the things that we love about motorsport, I think, Tom, is just that community sense to it, because there's a lot of money that floats around in motorsport. It's a very expensive thing to do, but it's driven by the countless hours that are just donated by volunteers.
It's driven by a bunch of good people and people dedicated to helping one another. So just under a slight delay at the moment. Word is that there is a slight amount of debris up the back straight, which is being cleaned up now, and we're waiting for the XLs to come out for some racing here. It's highly anticipated, big grid, stacked field at the front. Will Twining there, Jensen Teleskivi will line up behind him, then car 530 off position number 4, Aidan Karadagli, a regular in the Victorian State Circuit Racing Championship. So some heavy hitters up the front, some fresh names throughout the field. And looking forward to this one. Just got the course car going around doing its final inspection, and then we'll be out on the track.
A lot of debutantes taken to the XL field, and personally, I haven't been able to been lucky enough to get behind the wheel of a car, but we are rolling now. But you have, Tom, recently. You've cut some laps here at Sandown, and I guess from a new driver's perspective, for a lot of these guys who haven't really been out, it's for a lot of people they're making their debut in circuit racing, so the nerves would be intense. But we are now rolling as well. But you've had a pretty fun experience recently cutting some laps around here at Sandown, haven't you?
Yeah, I competed in the VHRR event here at Sandown last year. It was my first time at Sandown driving a car, and a good way to describe it is bumpy, incredibly bumpy, especially in a Formula Ford with quite little suspension travel, but nonetheless good fun. Technical track, not too many fast ones. Of course, you do have the turn 6 over the top of the hill, which is the fastest corner, but most of them are 90-degree pointy left-right, especially this section just off shot here, the 2, 3, 4 section, which sets up your run down along back straight, known as Sandown, generally known as the track with 2 drag strips. We'll quickly run you through the grid here off pole. 72, the Tasmanian of Will Twining, Ryan Phillips alongside him. Then we go to Jensen Teleskivy, Aiden Caradagley in P4, William Sala 5th, David Musgrave 6th, Daniel Webster 7th, Rye Roberts in position number 8.
We go back to the 5th row. We have Tyson Chaplin and Boyd Simpson alongside. Then we have Jack Carpenter and Jaden Hamilton, Aaron Ellings, Craig Christie, Lachlan Harvey, and Jake Burton filling up rows 5 through 8.
Then we move back to position number 17, Campbell Fraser in car 9. 1-2, Michael Barton will start alongside him. Rounding out the top 20 is, I'm going to struggle with this one, Effie Karagulu. And then we go to Isabel Rowe off position number 20. 21 will be Antonio Veneer in car 44. Cooper Fryth in car 54 off position 22. Adam Clark off 23. Jamie Eels off 24 in car 31. Then we move further on back here to Ed Narkowicz off 25th, Fletcher Simpson, Lucy Sidwell, Carly Fleming, a regular in the Victorian State Racing Series, often competes in a Duratec McGowl Formula Ford, Harrison Sala there, Richard Outram, Lucas Ricard, Michael Jeffs, position 32.
And then this just keeps on rolling, folks. We've got so many cars. Noah Ellsworthy will line up next to Gavin Newman, Brett Wilson and Daniel Harvey behind them. Then we have Lee Kennedy, Brendan Sala, one of 3 Salas on the grid here today. Chad Smith and John O'Keefe will be in 40th position. And then Leo Fielding, Gerard Annevelt and Lachlan Norton will round out 43rd on the grid. They're going to be backed up all the way to here, basically. There's so many cars.
I think we'll be sitting on the grid for quite some time. And yeah, we are, because the leaders are already lining into their position just outside the commentary box window as the final cars make their way through the kink and up to the back straight. So it'll be a long hold for these guys on the front row. Tyres and brakes will be cooling down as they sit there for upwards of a minute easily.
Certainly will be, and you need every little bit of temperature you can get in these tyres, as it's a pretty warm day, so you're not going to be able to get a whole lot of grip through them. It's going to be slippery, and there's not going to be much grip, which is going to make it very, very exciting for us to watch up in the box. A lot of these drivers will have their work cut out for them trying to throw these Hyundai XLs around the track. They're not very heavy cars, as you can very certainly ascertain from, you know, the fact that it's a Hyundai XL. Not much power behind them, but
there's not much of a car going on.
No, there is not. But what they do have is just insane action wherever we see them. And we get awesome side-by-side racing. Now, look at that. That's incredible. It's almost a 45-degree corner they've banked around for the start.
Well.
And there's still cars to come. But these cars, we've seen it before a lot at Sandown, Phillip Island, other fast tracks. The draft is so, so important. We have a bit of a headwind going down the main straight. So that is going to be really, really interesting to see who can get a tow off the last corner. Can we see some last-minute fireworks with some drafting?
Green flag at the back of the field. Ryan Phillips and Will Twining, your front row, set for a start. And it's a long hold. We're waiting for them to get underway here. Revs are still rising. We're getting word that there is a car out of position towards the back of the field, so perhaps a delayed startboard here, just waiting to see what the control tower says on the front straight. No movement as of yet. And there we go, car 24 just, sorry, is that car 24? It's car 24 on the insider shot. One of the cars just rolling into position here, so perhaps set for a start. We are underway, and an even conversion from the front row moves further on down in the pack. Hard to pick whatever car's going on there, but we've got Will Twining and Ryan Phillips on their way down into turn number 1.
Will Twining's going to have the inside line if he can hold his position there. Everyone's snaking around trying to find some real estate, and that's Jensen Teleskivy trying to have a look. He's probably going to slot into second position here, but not if the number 8 of Ryan Phillips has anything to do about it as they go side by side through turn 1. They all filter through somewhat cleanly for now, but we've still only got half the field coming through the shot, so we can't say for sure if it's a clean start until we've seen them all come through. But they are fighting for every little bit of track space that they can get make as many passes as they possibly can as they stream through turn 4 for the first time. What a shot there as the number 6 car goes a little bit wide. That was Jake Burton. That was the championship-winning car last year, but being driven by Emily Jones. Jake Burton was running that car. Now he's the one driving it. So he's got his hands full trying to keep that thing in a straight line through turn 4, but it is still William Twining who leads for now up the back straight. He's got drivers snaking all around behind him. That's the 34 of David Musgrave, who's made his way up into 4th position as well. So a great start from Musgrave, who started from P6.
We had the whole field there in one shot at that camera angle up at turn 6. Moves further on here. That is the 36 car of Sala defending from the 47 there of Daniel Webster. These guys started towards the rear of the top 10 and look to make their way forward. Side-by-side action there. Further on in the pack, hard to catch a number with so many cars filing through at a rapid pace. But we are on to the front straight for the first time. 40 cars taking to the green flag. A replay here of some side-by-side action. It's the car 6, like we touched on before, of Emily Jones' car last year. There was a bit of nose-to-tail contact there from the rejoin on the exit of turn 4. No harm, no foul play on.
Geez, I tell you what, it's almost, I'd call it miraculous that there wasn't more biff and barge on the first lap there with 43 XLs on track. So
very impressed.
Awesome driving from all of these competitors here in the Hyundai XL field as they cross the stripe for the first time in 2026. So as it stands, it's William Twining still leading ahead of Ryan Phillips. Then we have Jensen Teleskivi, David Musgrave, and then we have Cara Dagley in 5th, William Sala in P6, then Webster and Carpenter. The number 125 of Boyd Simpson in 9th, and then we have Raya Roberts in 10th position. Keep an eye on Raya Roberts, a very new starter, backed by Tickford there, that car from Rod Nash there. So he's got some awesome backing behind him, does Raya Roberts. He's been running very successfully in kart racing up until now, and he's making a tilt at circuit racing for the first time in 2026 in the Hyundai XLs.
Teleskivi there defending from David Musgrave as they reach the top of the back straight. The car 6 there, like you mentioned before, of Jake Burton on shot. Yeah, that slight contact earlier, a move here from the 44. That is Antonio Veneer as they funnel down through the twisty bits into Dandy Road. Isabella Rowe there defending from the car 912, like I touched on before. 7 minutes left on the clock. Last time by at the stripe, it was a 2/10 margin from first to second. Will Twining leading over the line from Ryan Phillips in the, I guess you could call it a Dale Junior Budweiser throwback car, a beautifully presented car. This time by 1/10 is the margin, and it was a 34.8, the fastest lap set by Ryan Phillips last time by.
It was such a close qualifying session as well. The gap between William Twining and Ryan Phillips on the timesheet was only 300ths of a second. So those two are basically neck and neck in terms of pace. So I'm really looking forward to seeing those two in training positions throughout the race. There's Ryan Roberts, we were chatting about earlier. He's all over the back of the 125 car of Simpson there. But yeah, Ryan Roberts is one of many drivers making his circuit racing debut here today in the Hyundai XL, and he's already carrying some really, really good pace in that number 51 machine, the Tickford car.
To have the P plates on in your first race and be in the top 10 is no slouch in a pretty strong field here of Hyundai XLs. He's just at the back of that shot there, the white car that has come through the kink momentarily, but we're up the back chute. Can Ryan Phillips make a move here for the race lead, or is he just perhaps biding his time with the 5-way breakaway rounded out by Aidan Carradagli in car 530? A slight move on shot here, almost side-by-side action through the S's down into Danny Road. Watch the 51 of Ryan Roberts. Does he pop a move down the inside? No. Thinks better of that and perhaps just setting up a tow down the long front straight. Sandown known for its two long straights, the drag strips they like to call it.
Yeah, very, very long straights, and they feel like they go on forever in these Hyundai XLs. And as I touched on earlier, there is a little bit of a headwind as they go to the main straight, which is going to make the draft that much more potent. So keep an eye out for big passing manoeuvres into turn 1. Not so much over the top of the hill into Dandenong Road, but they're still going to be giving it a red-hot crack as they stream down the straight once more. So it is still William Twining that leads this 5-car train here, all jostling for position. There's a little bit of a puff of smoke coming from one of the cars back there.
May have a motor letting go here for the car behind Raya Roberts. That would be the 101 of Tyson Chaplin. And he's got a big drum with the right front. It almost looks to be like a locked brake as the smoke just poured out of the right front. No signs of oil down there on the front straight as the rest of the guys get through. Guys and girls get through on him, but he's, falling like a stone outside of the top 10.
Yeah, that's really, really strange one there. He's back out on track, but we'll have to keep an eye on him to see if that car is still going, but I don't think that thing is doing well at all. some sort of issue there, whether
Maybe a
suspension or brakes or, a puncher.
A rear eye?
It looks to be fairly well, I guess, balanced. It doesn't look like there's a puncture there, but there's absolutely something going on with that 101. So
there will be a drama under the skin of that 101 car, which no doubt will have to be looked at back into the paddock, for sure.
What a shame. He qualified 9th position. He was looking on for a really good run there with Tyson Chaplin. Not to be today, but he's got 2 more chances tomorrow to come back and get some more points on the board. But let's go back up. Here's the battle for 9th position here. 8th position, I should say. Jack Carpenter in the number 11 car was leading this off, and he's trying to make a little bit of a gap here and leaving Boyd Simpson and Ryan Roberts in his wake. A couple of drivers locking up there on the way into Dandenong Road. But these two are lockstep, basically. Ryan Roberts is just sort of parroting everything that Boyd Simpson's doing, following all of his lines. They've both caught right up onto the back of Carpenter now. And back at the front here, we've got one of the Sala cars coming out of the pit lane, so everyone's going to have to weave out of the way. And Ryan Phillips is going to try and take advantage. He set the fastest lap of the race that time by, and he's going to tuck on the inside. So we'll keep an eye on that one to see how it plays out as the filter to turn 1. But we've got battle pack all the way up and down the track here. Another one of the Simpson cars there, the number 52 machine of Fletcher Simpson is leading this battle here with a gaggle of cars all behind him trying to find as many points as they possibly can. They're very, very hard to come by. You get points paid all the way down to 20th position. So if you're not in that top 20, you're not going to be scoring points in the XLs. That's super, super important.
And a crucial way to win a championship is just by finishing in that top 20 nice and consistently. Don't have to go for a race win every time, but DNFs certainly do hurt here in the first round of the Link Cold Storage and Transport Hyundai XLs. Action aplenty all the way throughout the field here. We're looking at the 109 there of Richard Outram, and these guys are battling way further down in the pack. This is for a roundabout position number 30. Just behind there was car number 2 in the Hyundai livery. That is Leo Fielding. He's come off the back of the grid. Car 41, big moment for the 11 down through the S's and somehow saves it. Debris going scattering all over the road there. Looks like a little bit of damage perhaps on the right front.
Wow, that was an insane moment there. He would have felt that in the driver's seat for sure. So he's back up and running now, but wowee. It's probably one of the scariest places to have a moment like that at this point of the Sandown Raceway. So that was Jack Carpenter, who was running in this battle that we touched on earlier with Boyd Simpson and Roberts.
Chaplin.
And there's
big dramas.
Yeah, Tyson Chaplin's not having a great time in that 101, unfortunately. So he's just taken to the track basically to let the cars past him. I'd be pretty confident that he'd be pulling into the pits to retire. Let's have a look at Carpenter. Wow! Lost the back end in a big way, rotated the car all the way around. Jeez, I think he nearly rolled it over at that point.
Not to go over.
So lucky not to, as he got a bit of air off the old sports car track coming back onto the layout there. Wowee, that is an insane bit of control from Jack Carpenter to keep that thing off the fence, get it back on the track, and keep going.
Great bit of car control there. Front wheel drive car, plant the throttle, and you generally are able to drive out of a mess like that. But that would have taken a little bit of skill and a little bit of luck to be out of an ugly mess there. 43 and the 6 onto the back straight out of turn number 4. Another replay at turn number 1, and it's just Tyson Chaplin again having big dramas. It looks like he's got steering damage perhaps on the front of that car. The moment he'd be out of the point, so it's really no point in him circulating here.
No, he's collected another car in the meantime as he was trying to gather the car up there, so hopefully there's not too much damage to that other car that unfortunately got caught up there on the exit of turn 1. But Tyson Chaplin is indeed in the pit lane, so his day is done, unfortunately, but hopefully he can get back that thing fixed up again, get back out on track. But Tyson and both Carpenter have put a little bit of gunk on the track there on the run into Dandenong Road there. So it is offline, so you're not likely to hit it. But if you're going for trying to make a move up the inside there, that's going to make it way harder.
Yeah, going for a lunge, which is generally a big passing opportunity at Sandown, is the run into Dandy Road. You're on the greasy stuff there, so you've got to be a little careful. Wheel-to-wheel contact, and the 912 gets fired off from Isabel Rose. So perhaps just a little bit of wheel-to-wheel contact through the final real corner there, the penultimate corner on your track map, but they seem to be pressing on. Battle for the lead. Ryan Phillips still holding off from the Tasmanian. Car 72 there of Will Twining, Jensen Teleskivy in P3. A couple of car links, but that should all be elapsed by the time they get up the top of the hill. A 5 or 6 car breakaway at the front, then it's a little bit more of a gap behind. So yeah, 5 cars battling it out for the first race here in Hyundai XLs.
It's been a tricky ask of these drivers to make a whole lot work with the draft here, especially up the back straight. You can see them all line astern, not really able to catch up too much. William Twining was all over the back of Phillips as they went onto the back straight, so just wasn't able to do much there except just stay line astern.
Track limits.
Yeah, a little bit close there to the curbs. Couple of drivers locking up behind them there, but Twining, I think, is just going to bide his time. Yeah, they're bouncing all over the place here at Sandown. It's a very abrasive track, as we talked about earlier. Very, very rough, and it's very bumpy, and you'd feel it a lot in these Hyundai XLs. But the number 8 here of Phillips is doing his darndest to keep William Twining behind him. Twining, the runner-up in the Victorian Hyundai XL Championship last year. That basically, aside from Emily Jones, the best driver who we had out there, is the last lap board greets them. So they have one more tour in race 1. Can William Twining get the job done? Can he get past Ryan Phillips, or will Phillips hold on for a great win here from second position?
Look at the inside rear wheel as they turn through the apex of the corner, lifting off the road. Big lunge from Will Twining for the race lead. Does he send it in too deep? No, he doesn't, and just escorts the number 8 a little wide there, but still remain with 2 wheels on the track. So big battle for the lead. Teleskivy right in hot there, and he's going to almost go around. He's having a massive moment in the back. A shot there falls back to P number 4, and it's allowed these two just to skip away as we start on to the back straight for the final time in anger. Teleskivy, going back to position number 4, had a huge moment through turn number 2 as he chatted on the rear brakes. But all eyes to the front as Ryan Phillips holds off the lead from Will Twining.
Twining's going to try, and he's been rehearsing this all race long. Can he make a move done?
Smart
Phillips is going to make it so difficult. He's parking that XL right on the inside of the track, not letting anything happen there, but Twining is not going to give up without a fight. They snake across the top of the hill.
Fire down the inside.
Right across the curbs. Twining's going to have a look on the inside, but there's just too much gunk on the road. Can't get it done. Has to slot back in behind the number 8 car of Phillips. Didn't get the exit he was looking for, but it's not their last shot. They've still got a couple more chances where you've got to put the brakes on and get and possible overtaking chances here. But I think Twining's a little bit too far back. Mm-hmm. We'll see what he can do on the run onto the main straight as Phillips and Twining round the last corner here. Pedal to the metal. Can Twining pull something out of a hat here to get past, or is it going to be Ryan Phillips? It's going to be Ryan Phillips who takes race 1 here at Sandown for 2026. Great racing from the number 8 car. Twining, the reigning runner-up, just behind in number 2. Jensen Teleskivy was able to recover back onto the podium in 3rd position. Fantastic work there with David Musgrave almost on for a podium, but back into P4. But still, what a fantastic race there for Musgrave. Cara Dagley crosses the line in 5th with Webster, William Sala, the number 125 of Boyd Simpson. Raya Roberts crossed the stripe in 9th, and we've got Carpenter, who had that massive moment here a few laps ago, recovering to 10th, but there's still so much racing going on up and down the field. There's the number 54 car that I saw getting caught up earlier with Tyson Chaplin, so that car looks to still be on the straight and narrow, which is good. That is Cooper Frith in that orange car there, so still going hard are these Hyundai XLs all the way up and down the field for the last points.
Car 159 from the 71 there of Chad Smith, who closed right up over the top, and that margin was just stretched out a little bit by the time they got to Dandy Road, but these guys powering through towards the back of the field, and this is the battle for 37th and 38th. Chad Smith coming across the line here to finish in P38. Bit of smoke from one of the cars ahead. It looks like a Sala car. it's the number 2.
Leo Fielding.
Leo Fielding, who made a charge from starting in position 41 to finish. Just not showing on our timing screen at the moment, but inside the top 30.
Yeah, great recovery there from Leo Fielding, but hopefully that car's in a good spot. It's his debut season as well. He's one of many drivers making his first run. He's only really given that car a shot here in super sprints, but for a lot of drivers, they'll be taking a lot of learning, I guess, from that Sandown race being their first outing. I'd hazard to guess and say a lot of drivers wouldn't want to be pushing too hard, wouldn't want to be trying to, brain everyone off the line there and get everything done with their first race in the season, keep it nice and neat and tidy. And we saw a lot of really, really good, respectful racing from a lot of young amateur drivers as well. Just awesome stuff all the way up and down the field. Little bits of contact here and there, and hopefully we get the vast majority of these cars back out on track tomorrow as well.
Absolutely. A bit of time between now and the first race tomorrow morning. Stay tuned on the schedule there. Hopefully, like you said, we have all these cars back out in anger for the second race here of the Link Cold Storage and Transport Hyundai XL. So up next we have the MG and invited British sports cars, which will take to the track, I believe, for a 17-minute affair. Shortened schedule for today's racing and qualifying. A little bit of a drama earlier on in the day, but we have resolved that and running slightly ahead of schedule. So looking forward to that one.
Yeah, there's so much fantastic racing coming up today and tomorrow here in the Wolfchester Sandown Challenge here for Trophy Tour Victoria on track for the first time in 2026. It's going to be an incredible season if the first two races have been anything to come by. And I still cannot believe every time I look up, it's a different field of Hyundai XL streaming into pit lane. And it's so good to see such a massive grid. But as Tom touched on there, next up we do have MG invited British sports cars, and then it'll be sports sedans after that. Formula Vs, Formula Fords, historic touring cars, improved production, and the Porsche 944 Challenge will round out the day's action. But Darren Smith, what are you most excited for?
The whole weekend.
Whole weekend, exactly.
It's great to be back racing. Just been talking to some people off air, and it is great to be back at the track. Matt, what I'm most looking forward to is seeing the performance on your SPF 15 in the sun this afternoon. You're about to go down to pit lane and give us a little bit of action coming from down there. Looking forward to that, mate. Looking forward to that indeed. As we just touched on, we have got a ripping program heading our way right now. So there's plenty to come. We might take a quick break because we're going to have the MG invited British cars coming your way in just a moment with Chris Gidney jumping on board. Back in a couple of moments.
Well, folks, here at the Wolfchester Sandown Challenge, we've made our way down to Trade Alley where we've got quite the Wolfchester activation. And to join us and talk to us more about Wolfchester is John. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. But more importantly, thank you for jumping on and supporting the Trophy Tour.
Mate, you're welcome. We're actually first one out for the season, and the boys aren't here, so they're actually up in Bathurst. So all this, we take credit, not them. No Trent, no Glenn. This is the guys. So, yeah, we're pretty wrapped. It's a great setup, and, we're happy, being one of the main sponsors for this weekend, and looking forward to having a really big day tomorrow.
So tell us about Wolfchester and the product ranges for vendors, for customers. Tell us about the Wolfchester story.
Okay, so we're an Australian-owned company. We manufacture in Australia, which is great, and we're really proud of that. We do automotive and industrial consumables, so across the board we do pretty much everything from your fasteners right through to toilet paper. So, we do everything right across the board. And like today, we brought a lot of our products that we do have on board are specific for race day, for the race cars. If you go across and you look at some of the products, you can see that we've got like your RTVs, we've got your, brake cleaner, which, look proud of that one. That's manufactured here in Dandenong, actually. So it's only around the corner. So, yeah, we've got a full range of products, and we don't only do, for the racing component, we do across the board in everything from transport, agriculture, mate, you name it, we do it.
So obviously aligning with Trophy Tour, you've got quite the captive community, a lot of participants here who would be purchasing your product. So you'll be seeing your fair share of the races, the mechanics, all those people coming throughout the weekend. Yeah.
Actually, they're first day, and most of the guys that we did sell to today are all off, from that race. They've come over, they've bought hand cleaners, they've bought, like a lot of them have bought gloves. We manufacture our own gloves as well. So, for the average, Joe Blow down the road to the top end mechanic, So, yeah, the guys have been good. They've been very supportive, which I'm pretty happy about that. Yeah.
Now, look, thank you so much for jumping on board, supporting the Sandown Challenge, Wolfchester Sandown Challenge, the inaugural event for the Trophy Tour as we launch into 2026.
Go get them, Wolfies.
Absolutely. Great message being sent out there by Callum and John down there in the Wolfchester activation area. They are open for business, so if you need any of those sorts of requirements that Wolfchester working with, safety equipment, cleaning, lubrication, tools, sealants, all of those bits and pieces, or if you just want to jump on www.wolfchestershop.com.au. That's wolfchestershop.com.au, and look up all of their fantastic products. Engage with Wolfchester. They've engaged with the motorsport community here in Victoria, and super proud to have them on board for Round 1 Trophy Tour. Wolfchester Challenge Sandown here this weekend. I guess one of the categories, or the category we should be thankful for Wolfchester's involvement, is the cars that are coming out on track right now, the MG and invited British cars. And I've got Chris Gidney right alongside me. Welcome, Chris, to the Trophy Tour for round number 1.
Thanks, Darren. Good to be here. And thanks, Darren. Thanks for having me again for round 1. Excited to see what kicks off for round 1 for the year. So, obviously, thanks to Wolfchester. Yeah, as a series, we've had a big involvement with Wolfchester over the years, with the likes of Phil Chester, who, when he was at the helm, running with us, and then Glenn Wood and Trent Harrison have had a little bit of a stint in the series as well.
Those are the two guys that are the directors down at Wolfchester. Of course, they're racing at the Bathurst 12-hour in the KTM Crossbow this weekend. So looking forward to seeing what their result comes late tomorrow afternoon. But we have got a terrific field, 21 cars. This is just a great start to the season for the Bennett Signs MG and invited British cars field. Of course, there's been a little bit of eligibility changes. Of course, expanded vehicle eligibility over for 2026. The new calendar this year, invited British cars are now becoming invited British sports cars and touring cars as well. So a bit of opening up of cars eligible.
Yeah, it's exciting. It's exciting. We've had a few people already put in their applications, have been approved, so we're just waiting to see them on track. So the acceptance year has been expanded from 92 to the year 2000, so, and obviously the tin tops, so your touring car version of cars. So it opens up to some Rover tin tops and some wider range of like Triumphs, and obviously still open to your normal like Triumphs, your Healeys and your Jags as well.
And I guess the other thing is the touring car fraternity as well, isn't it? So
yeah, it is.
Not just your sports cars.
No, and that's exciting for us because we don't know who is going to come, get accepted, and where they're going to land on this grid.
So let's look at the grid. Phil Chester goes on pole with a 1:17.92, and it is the best part of 3/4 of a second to Simon Elliott. So 2 V8s filling the front row of the grid. Keith Ondaatje, great to have Keith back in the Bennett Signs MG and invited British cars here this weekend. He had a bit of a season sort of doing some historic stuff last year, but cool to see him starting out of position number 3. Gary Bulmer next in car number 4. Michael Trethen in car number 7. So the number 1's been peeled off and put on Phil's car. Michael, we have to get used to him running a 7. Can look like, if you squint, it looks like a 1.
It does. It's very weird to see, isn't it, after so long?
It is. Tony Vollebrecht out of 6. Alana Ondaatje in the 44 in her Stag there. Jefferson John Cox in the 95 out of 9. Hank Zwarteveen out of position number 9. John Makem, the guy who is Bennett Signs himself, out of position number 10 in the midget. Jason Humble, as we are about to get ourselves a start here. Gordon Bunyan, Mike Stevenson, and away we go. A great start by the Stag from the second row of the grid, but have a look at Simon Elliott. He's grabbed second gear and charging. He's got the big sweep over to turn 1. Phil Chester just grabbing gears as well, side by side. Have a look at Alana Ondaatje in the 44. She's gone to the dirt. Phil sweeps through in car number 1. Kind of fitting, really, isn't it? That car number 1 gets to turn 1 for the first race of the year.
It sure is. And it's going to be a good battle, this one. Simon wasn't too far off in qualifying. They've always been pretty close. So we'll see how closely they stick together.
Shame Richard Milligan hasn't made the grid here because he was coming on gangbusters towards the end of 2026. I wonder where he's at with his car.
So Richard was due to run his Group S spec car this weekend, but found some last-minute problems. So we hope to see Richard back at Calder. Bit of a shame that the V8, the big famous Sexmort Fitzgerald V8's going through a little bit of a refresh. And so we'll hopefully see that back in 27 as Bulmer pulls off a nice move over the outside of John Cox. Saying John Cox.
This is a beautiful looking car. This one really, it keeps in, I'm going to say, in the traditionalists that keeps them at bay, doesn't it? But also gives us a full bit of great performance there. So really cool to see what Gary does with that car. Always presents very, very nicely indeed. So that's the MGB. Got a bit of aero on it. Oh, no, that's not what we wanted to see. Not this early, not now.
That's Jason Edwards in the 260 from South Australia. Not good to be moving around in the car, so we'll probably might see a safety car with where that was sitting.
Yeah, that's right at the top of the hill, isn't it, where he's parked off the straight ahead instead of turning left to go down the hill. Great shot. There goes Johnny Makem. He streams on through there as well. Bunyan Wells, there's St John Cox in the 92, and safety car. We've gone safety car, as you suggested, Chris. Safety car.
Yeah, it's a shame on the opening lap, especially from someone who had such a great year. It's equal second in our club championship last year, Jason Edwards. So it's a shame. Normally a real bandit on cold tyres.
Yeah.
Great skilled driver. So obviously something had happened there. So we'll see what happens if we see a replay.
Interesting enough, Mike Trathen's already made from position 5. He's up into position number 4.
Yeah,
so we might take this opportunity to catch up with Emma Dean and Matt Dunlop out amongst the people.
And I'm here on Red Hill with Matt Dunlop. Matt, what can you tell us about being on Red Hill at Sandown?
Oh, Emma, how's the serenity? It is a beautiful day to be out here watching car racing. Red Hill is one of my favourite spectator spots in Victorian motorsport here, because you can bring your car, fill up, all your family, all your mates in the car. It's $10 a car to come in here, park it up on the hill, and you get this view. You get to watch cars roaring past all day, and it is sensational. It's a beautiful day for it as well. 30 degrees. Bring your sunscreen though. It's a bit bitey, the UV today, isn't it, Emma?
Absolutely is. But to be honest, there's no better value in Australian motorsport. For $10 to fill your car up, as many people, the esky, blankets, chairs, whatever you want, and you can sit out here and have one of the best views around the back of Dandenong Road and onto the main straight. It is fantastic.
Plenty of overtaking opportunities to be seen when you're up there looking at Dandenong Road, but all the way down through here as well, into that last chicane leading onto the main straight. You can see almost the entire track, even leading up to the back of the hill there. It's such a great view, and it just sounds sensational as well too, doesn't it? Hearing those V8s and all these other sensational cars just roaring up the back straight there. It's such a nice place to be.
I've got to tell you, just as Phil Chester came around in that gorgeous V8 MG, it's probably the best place to watch it, listen to it, hear him gear down and go onto the straight and just go hell for leather. It's fantastic.
It's absolutely brilliant. So if you're around Melbourne, if you're looking for something to do this weekend, you've got to spare $10 burning a hole in your pocket, you've got a car that's full of all your mates, and you want to come down and just watch some great racing, here is the place to do it at Red Hill. Come on down. It is an awesome experience. You won't be disappointed. And it's a beautiful weekend, all weekend. The weather's looking sensational tomorrow as well. We've got a whole day of racing to come tomorrow. Not just this afternoon's action, but from 10 a.m. tomorrow all the way through to 5 o'clock, we are rip-snorting around this track in all manner of vehicles that we've seen so far on the stream. So don't miss it. Come on down. It's going to be great.
When Matt Dunlop tells you to come on down, it's going to be great. You better listen there as well. And that's really cool up there. Good shots from down there. You can make your way right up to the Turn 9 Dandenong Road corner, basically about 10 metres off the back of that famous sand trap there as well. So that whole area of Red Hill, Chris, I don't know about you, but $10, if you've got a 5-seater...
What value?
If you've got a 12-seater Coaster or a High Ace or something like that, it's still $10.
You could do another trip and...
Yeah,
grab
that's
half
right.
Your,
that's right. Yeah,
the other half of your mates out.
Yeah. I can't think of a better way to do it. Bring your chairs, bring your portable audio device as well, so you can listen to us on the live stream as well. Big shout out to everyone watching us on the live stream and those fans that have made their way through to the track here today. It's great to have you. Saturday afternoon racing is always really good fun. Just watching car number 260 parked up there. For the time being, Jason Edwards, and we've got the circuit engineer out there as well, trying to make sure that guardrail is compliant and can still do the job that it is supposed to do. Here we go. Here is the replay.
Ooh.
I'm going to say all by himself. Chris just
it
disappeared
like,
across the bottom of the shot.
Yeah, it sure looked like it. There is that nasty bump on the that ripple strip on the left-hand side as you're coming down, so it's very easy to hit that, and then in an MGF especially, easy to just flip around. And
so very light too, aren't they?
Yeah.
They can get upset pretty quickly. Great to see all these cars out here. The MGFs for the Chester girls. Here they come. There's the 71, just streaming through. That's Kayleen. And there goes Maddie in the 73. Two cars that we did a bit of a promotional activity at Phillip Island in the October event, where it was a drive for the race cars from the track down to Cowes and parked up in the street there. And the kids getting to the two MGFs of Maddie and Kayleen Chester were just absolutely loving it. They've got that Cars movie theme about them, and some kids just stood there with their mouths wide open, just looking at it. Couldn't believe they were seeing the real thing.
Yeah, it's that screen to real life.
Isn't it? Yeah, and well, it is. It's a cartoon essentially, isn't it, or an animation? And here the Chester family have bought those two cars out to race, and well, at the moment we've got the field, I guess, bracketed by the Chester family. Phil out in front, he qualified brilliantly with a 1:17.92, so he's heading the field. Albeit that we are under safety car, and just seeing the track engineer down there as well. This might last for a couple of laps. Just before we started the race, Chris, we mentioned briefly the opening up of the rules, or the rules being more accepting to eligibility for more cars. Of course, MG aspect of it speaks for itself, but the invited British has taken on a new, I guess, a new feeling about it. Tell us about the process of having a British racing car of an era up to 2000, I think you said now. Tell us what's involved.
Well, if you have a car that looks like it's going to fit the mould in the series, as you're seeing on TV now, send an email through the committee for MG Racing. So it's committee@mgracing.com.au, and request an application form. We'll send it back, and we'll advise you whether it's applicable or not, and would love to have you come along. And it is open to cars that might be in other series. We're not trying to steal anyone, but if you're got a race that's coming up and there's your category's not running a few weeks before, and you want some time to get some track time, some test time, and come along. And yeah, we're just trying to help everyone for the greater good. If you need someone to race, if your car's a little bit of a left of centre car that doesn't have a group, that's what we're trying to open it up to. So
let's just run some names off the top of my head. Aston Martin, Austin Healey, Daimler, Jag, Jensen Healey, Lotus, Leyland, Morgan, Morris, Rover, even Roots Group, Triumph, my favourite, TVR, Vauxhall, Wolseley. All these cars are now, I guess, something that you guys will consider to come along and join.
Yeah, of course, if it fits the mould. Obviously, if it's a big thumping GT3 car, obviously it's not going to fit, because we've still got to look after our 130% and the rear of our grid as well, because that's where the core of our competitors are. Obviously, we have these awesome V8s that are out the front, and our really quick, from position 4 to 8 cars as well. But the core of our group is from position 9 onwards. And
well, when we look down the list here this weekend, there's MG Midget, MGB Roadster, MG Midget again, Triumph Stag, another Stag, ZR, MG ZR, MG ZS 180, Triumph Spitfire, and don't forget, it was only 2 seasons ago that white South Australian Triumph Spitfire came over here and won the series. So there's other things out there. Austin Healey Sprite, Triumph TR7. I'd love to see some, like an Austin Healey 3000 or a 100 or, a couple of those. They're floating around. They're definitely out there.
yeah, for sure. Imagine that going down the front straight here.
Yeah, that would be just absolutely awesome. One of those 6-cylinder 3000 Austin Healeys would be great, and there's a lot of them out there as race cars. There is something that this field does very, very well, and that is look after each other. The likelihood of car-to-car contact is exceptionally low.
Yeah, that's something we try and pride ourselves on, and we obviously the cars are, of an era that there's not a huge amount of parts left for them. So we really try and race hard, race close, but race fair and clean. So it's a real spot here that we just want to make sure you can bring your car out, have a good run, race clean and close, go home at the end of the weekend and have a big smile on your face.
Now, I know you're enjoying fatherhood. How far is your race car been pushed to the back of the shed since that occurred?
My car is currently out of the shed, and it will be back on track at Calder.
Whoa, there we go.
I guess now I've said it live on air.
Announcement. You've said it now. You've put yourself. I was giving you the opportunity to dodge the question, but you've gone straight in with it. Oh, that's terrific. I'm glad that is, and of course the family will be along to watch you.
Yeah, it will be good to have everyone out.
Yeah.
Obviously, my mum still comes and watches, so that's always pretty cool to have a big family group, and that's something that the MG series and Invited British series does quite well, inclusive of the families, inclusive of the crews that come and help, and all park in the pits with each other and just one.
Well, when we look
family.
at the result of that race, by the way, that race has been called. The results sheet says it all, because at the pointy end and at the other end of the grid is a Chester, and that's a father and his two daughters that go racing. You can't have a better advertisement until you look to the Ondachis, and they're doing that as well, aren't they?
Exactly right. And Jason Edwards, Trevor Dunford and Murray Stevenson come over in convoy from South Australia. Obviously we're missing a couple of those guys like Trevor Lindsay, Rodney Gibb and John Illingworth, so all hopefully back this year as well. So the convoy of coming from over from South Australia is going to get bigger again. And yeah, it's you come down, the Ondachis have their marquees spread out, and
it's actually hard to walk past the Ondachi marquees. They're very welcoming, very friendly, and as are the Chesters and even the Gidneys, the Vanells and the Hurleys, all of these other families that are synonymous with the MG racing. Chris, that is the action. I guess we've seen it now. There's only 3 laps there. Phil Chester has, as it came into the grid, I don't think we got far enough into the race to declare a result there, but a 1:25.64. He was warming up for a red-hot dip at it because his qualifying time was a 1:17.92. He was just working his way up to it. But, Chris, thank you very much. We'll see you for plenty more racing with the MG and Invited British cars tomorrow. I have got a schedule in my hand that says it will be at 10 o'clock tomorrow and then again at 2:05. So a socially early start, not too early to get out here. But thank you, Chris. We will see you tomorrow. We'll take a quick break here from the central commentary spot and we'll try and work out where we're going with this wall repair down at Dandenong Road and get that MG number 260 back into the pit and paddock area. We'll be back in a couple of moments. Thanks for joining us trackside here at Sandown International Motor Raceway for the Trophy Tour Victoria Wolfchester Sandown Challenge, round number 1. We have already had a good handful of races, but right now we are just waiting for Sports Sedans, but we will go down to pit lane.
I've got Tom Worsley here from Bridgestone joining us for the Wolfchester Sandown Challenge here. Tom, it's great to have you on board, and it's great to have so many Bridgestone shod cars racing around the Sandown circuit this weekend.
Absolutely. We're super excited to be involved in improved production. Big change for them over the off-season to go from a different tyre to the RE71 RS. And, of course, we've got the Saloon cars running on the RE11 as well this weekend. So always good to be at a racetrack, even better when there's Bridgestone cars running around.
What's the assessment for the track conditions? Do you get a bit of feedback from the drivers in terms of what the tyres are doing, how they're working? And is it like a bit of an unknown? And I guess, how much data do you come in with? Is it very much you learn as you go when you come to a place like this with new categories under your belt?
Yeah, so obviously we know a lot about the tyre. What we don't know is a lot about improved production. So we're coming in, we're working with the teams. We've got our technical guys here. They're working with teams to get temperatures and pressures, and so that we can support them through the transition as best as we can and put on some good racing.
We're really looking forward to seeing the improved production later on today. We've got Sports Sedans coming up right now, though. Tom, thank you so much for joining me. Enjoy the rest of the weekend. I'm sure we'll bump into it somewhat soon. And all the best with Bridgestone and everything else going on this weekend.
Cheers.
Thanks, Matt. Good to see Bridgestone jumping on board and pushing on with improved production. It's been a very, very strong category over a long time with a fantastic control tyre. The first time here this weekend to really put the torch onto the Bridgestones and see how they react. We've got Sports Sedans, the big bangers, the gods of thunder that we've been talking about for so many years. A bespoke Aussie product. You won't find this sort of race cars anywhere else in the world. I'm Darren Smith. Emma Dean has jumped on right alongside here. And Em, if I'm not incorrect, this is your first time calling a Sports Sedan race.
Yeah, I had to have a chat to Callum Brannigan and I said, can you give me the lowdown? And he said it's, to quote, engineered insanity. So I'm looking forward to it.
That's exactly what it is. It is certainly, yes, it is engineered insanity. And that is, the picture tells 1,000 words. Have a look at those silhouettes there. Graham Haddo in his Commodore. That car's actually for sale. So Graham will be starting out of position number 12. That is that magnificent Commodore. It's just wobbling its way down into turn 9 now. So check out Graham's car. Go and have a yak with him. It's the car that Michael Robinson won multiple championships in as well. So a car with great pedigree. The grid looks like this. Dean Cam, multiple champion. The 5-star fencing legend of Australian Sports Sedan racing at the front of this field. Rolling start, Ray Hislop right alongside. Don't be surprised if Ray gets into turn 1 first. Brett Dickey and Darren Hossack, the second row of the grid. Turbocharged Honda Prelude and an RX-7. And there we go. We are away. Nash, Jeremy Davison, Aidan Mungo hasn't made the grid. Greg Lynch down into turn 1. Have a look at the Honda bouncing on the inside. Gets through on Hislop. Oh, it's the 11 coming through of Alan Nash there as well. And it is Cam. Gets through on Hislop. Nash, who came out of 5th spot, tackling for it as well. Hossack in the rotary. It is definitely underpowered compared to all of those around him. But he is a man that can drive, an Australian champion. In one single season, he won the Australian Superkarting Championship, and he also won the National Kerrick Sports Sedan Championship. Wasn't in this car, it was in the 700 horsepower Audi of John Gourlay, but this is his car. The red car, as it's nicely known in the family, tucks in behind Nash. And of course, you'll know the look at the back of that car because he raced supercars for a while there as well. Have a look at this, the Honda Prelude now of Brett Dickey. Bollard's Direct, car number 29, the ACL car. And Ray Hislop just driving up behind him. This guy needs very little introduction at all, Emma. In fact, Cars 2, 3 and 4 on the road are all guests on the Grassroots Racing podcast.
Absolutely, Darren. And I have to admit, I've seen these cars menacing the pits and the dummy grid for the last 3 years. And I'm so glad I'm commentating on them. But my God, that Chevy of Dean Cairns, that is a beast. In fact, every single one of these cars is an unleashed version of what it originally was.
It is absolutely, yeah. And generally what was in front, middle or behind has been thrown in the bin. There's Haddo for sale in the number 32. Sadly, we haven't seen enough of Graham over the last few years, but yep, this car is for sale. The Advanced Car Carriers Victorian Sports Sedans, and there it is, car number 321, launch takeoff, and a car with great pedigree. In behind Haddo, there is Warren Clellan in the marked car, and then we've got Kelly in there as well. There's a couple of updates which I've had sent through to me. Nathan Baines, too much grunt in his new car. He's had to, he's done a diff. So that's where Nathan is not taking any further part. Graham Gilliland in that screaming 20B RX-7 off the back of the grid, car number 21. He had an alternator issue in the marshalling area, so didn't get to qualify coming off the rim of the grid. Unfortunately, Darden Brown, he won't be taking any further part. He's done a gearbox, and David Shaw had coolant issues in qualifying. David's definitely out there in the 94, down there in position number 12. The Advanced Car Care Sports Sedans are alive and well.
Darren, I don't know about any of those issues. You can't tell anyone's got any issues right now out on track, but I'm seeing a 1990s Lygon Street fever dream here with the Sylvia that I always wanted, and then that Graham Haddow VS Commodore is just a delight. Love it.
It's a monster, isn't it? Have a look at this, the number 75 emblazoned down the side of Aidan Munger's car. It is absolutely ticking the boxes, isn't it, Em?
For me,
your eyes on that.
For me, yeah, the old JDM in me is never gone. It's never too far under the surface. So that would have been my pick about 20 years ago, and still now. Look at it go.
We've got to keep our eyes peeled for the JDM, I guess, scene, don't we? That community are burgeoning, so it'll be interesting to see how that community does come on. But boy, what a flagship this number 75 is, because right out in front is some genuine HSV Aussie muscle. It looks like a supercar. It isn't. It's a sports sedan. It was actually a GTS road car that he raced in the HSV Owners Club. And over the years, it has been committed to being a championship winning car. And Greg had a massive 2025. Took home the chocolates just about everywhere in Vic V8s and sports sedans. And he's doing a terrific job. Right now, where are we looking here in the field? Lynch in 7. He's got Davison ahead, so the 75 looks out. That's Aidan Munger down the inside. Wow, that is some boost and some brakes. The double B, boost and brakes there for Aidan Munger.
I'm glad you brought up the JDM thing, Darren, because I think most people think that JDM's off in drifting or they're doing concourse stuff. I would love to encourage more people with JDM vehicles to come out and do some circuit racing, because we just don't get treated to it enough.
Absolutely, couldn't agree more. There is something that they would love to see as well, that RX-7 of Graham Gilliland. Brett Dickey, for all intents and purposes, you know, that's a Honda Prelude, and that is being chased down by some classic Aussie grunt, by a classic Aussie race driver. Ray Hislop has operated at the very top of the improved production world, multiple national champion in that category, and has also committed quite heavily to sports sedans over the last few years in this particular car, and he's doing a terrific job. Have a look at the bumps on the straight here. Brett Dickey sets this car up like it's a go-kart, and he's actually got it set on the bump mode, so he is actually got the car nice and soft, goes wide. Hislop looks down the inside, doesn't need any more of an invite, and the bollards direct. Honda Prelude just sees Hislop stream on through.
I got to say, it is on the JDM tip too, Darren. It's such a delight to see the sweetheart late 80s Honda Prelude out there. They're gorgeous, and Brett Dickey's actually looks like to get beached on a speed bump. I don't know how short those springs are, but I'm guessing they're the shortest of short.
Well, he has a massive program coming up through internationally. He's done Pikes Peak year on year on year on year. That program has sort of been parked for the moment. Big shout out to the guys that he works with over there. But he's off to Asia. He's going to be doing some touring car racing in Asia. Let's hope we get to see him at some more local rounds of the sports sedans, because that Prelude, like that wedge shape is absolute classic. Let's face it, it is. Talking about wedge shape, our racing leader, Dean Cam, flames, everything you like about a sports sedan, in fact a racing car. Big wide fat rear tyres, a big rear wing and flames. Have a look at this. Nash now drives on through Darren Hossack. Hossack just having to relinquish that. He'd gone through into 4th place, but now Hossack is being challenged. Yes, this is Darren Hossack. Yes, he's been racing these things for a long, long time. But this car, in anyone's admission, probably should not be battling around in the top 5. It is horsepower restricted, you'd have to say. It doesn't have bulk horsepower. It has bulk setup in it, and it has a driver that doesn't like coming second. So that's what it's all about.
No, but I'm really distracted by the Alan Nash Jack Daniels livery HSV out there, Darren, because being an Aussie, it's just romantic. It's romantic to see on Valentine's Day. Romantic to see a Holden or a Ford with beautiful livery on it, charging around a track unleashed.
And we have got a Ford out there as well. Ray Hislop currently sitting P2 on the road. There's another Falcon out there as well, which is David Shaw in his AU. And that's a Barra. That's a turbocharged version. Oh, getting very loose. At the back there is Davison, the Bandit insurance-sponsored car. And he is right into the back of Darren Hossack. He'd be loving this. He would have wanted to be racing against Darren Hossack for decades. Now he's got him right in front of him. He's got him right where he needs him. And you would have to say, and I'm pretty sure Jeremy would agree, that he's got a little bit more firepower under the bonnet. Talking about firepower, there goes Graham Gilliland. The G&G Engineering RX-7 in the bright orange, the yellow detail with the blue stripe. A very loyal and dedicated crew in the background of that car. Haddo goes through. A very nice sports sedan. Probably just needs a wash at the end of the weekend. You go racing in a couple of weeks' time with that one. But certainly Graham Haddo got that car up for sale. We've seen him actually at historic Winton. He raced his RX2, which is in a... I'm not sure what spec it's in, but he was in a regularity there as well. So Graham's got a couple of cars in the shed. And he's obviously thought, well, I'm not using the Commodore that much. It's a championship-winning car. It's got great pedigree. Time to move it on. So it would be hard. Gilliland straight through. Wow, under brakes, the RX-7. It's probably got a couple of 100 kilos lighter than the general product there behind him. But the 21 of Graham Gilliland, that was a very good pass there. Brett Dickey had a little drive of this car yesterday. No lap times came forward out of it, but certainly Brett currently sitting P3 on the road as Graham Gilliland gets through. And this family, the Gillilands, Graham and his wife Anne, absolute legends. Some of the nicest people you'll ever meet in a pit lane and a paddock area. And we get to meet a lot of nice people in this game, but... this family committed to motorsport for decades, and they continue to go racing. And an update. Listen to that scream.
I know, I'm distracted by all the exhaust sounds. Yeah. It's fantastic.
Listen to it coming out of this turn 4. It is absolutely immense. Power down and head up the hill. There's Jeremy Davidson in the Bandit security car. He's got through on Darren Hossack there as well. So he's in the top 5 now. Hossack goes to 6. Oh,
Lynch.
No. This is the Lynch car. And Greg has parked it up right in the middle of the track. Dean Cam, in fact, having to go to lock-up stage as he came down there. So the car is obscuring basically the whole surface. So there goes the 86 of car number 62. And can't quite pick up who that is, but these two come through. Nash. Jeremy goes to the inside now. Yellow flags are out. Darren Hossack grabs a whole lot of brakes as they come across the cars. Brett Dickey's actually in the side there as well. We can just see the little tab on the rear wing there of Brett's car, the Illicit Aero sticker on there.
That's not a great place. That's going to narrow a few little comps we've got going on in this race, Darren.
Isn't it ever? Yeah. That is absolutely not what we wanted on. There's better coming together there as well. That's not nice at all. Those two guys are generally stay right out of trouble. But, the rear wing on Graham Gilliland's car. That looked to be on a strange angle there. Haddo, the big wide Commodore has to go up onto the dirt to get through.
What's happened in the last minute and a half, Darren?
Sure, this is not typical sports sedan racing. Have a look at the rear wing on Gilliland's car. That's drama. Let's hope he knows that's there because he's coming to the top of the hill where aero is everything. Checkered flag's gone to Dean Cam whilst all that's busting loose.
Looks like he's been to Bunnings.
That is not... He's got the Ford Ranger and some zip ties and he's got a load on the back there. Oh, no, that is weird. That is very weird. I wonder if he's clipped a wall or something, maybe coming out of turn 4, but, that's bent up. That is not good at all.
Metal.
We never see this out of Graham Gilliland. He is the guy that brings the car back, body-wise, in one piece. Let's cast our eye to the actual result now, though. Dean Cam gets the win. He's back in with the championship hunt. Ray Hislop is in P2 and Nash. So a Falcon and a Commodore. Jeremy Davidson, wow, great result there for the Bandit Security RX-7. He has done a ripping job in the advanced car carriers sports sedan. Darren Hossack gets home for 5th. Aidan Munger in the 75M there, the Sylvia for 6th place. Graham Gilliland with a broken rear wing, as we can see there, front and centre on the shot there. Gilliland, I would suggest, is aware of it, but not quite how graphically what's
What are
going
you going to do?
yeah, what are you going to do? Exactly, that's the right answer. It certainly is. Warren Cleland was next. Great to see the Mark car pushing inside the top 10. Ben Kelly, Brett Dickey, not sure whether he's got going again, but the field, he's still in the side of Lynch there, so they're not going anywhere. Gay Shaw in the Barra-powered Falcon. Tegan Collins, great to see Tegan out there. She'd be looking for a better result than 14th, but loving to see her back out there. She was another one that took part in the Track to Town drive in her car, so she started out as 17th, and she'd be pretty happy with that. She's got up to 14th, and then Lynch, Blizzard, Baines, and Darden Brown that didn't get into this race. But there is Graham Haddo just motoring up there. There's two iterations on a sports sedan, a very sleek RX-7, and then a very big, wide sports sedan getting up the back straight. Thanks, Emma, for joining us for the sports sedans.
Thanks, Darren. I loved it.
You've got work to do.
I do.
Cars coming up the top of the hill here as well. Dean Cam already back into the paddock area. And, wow, a very happy return to those two guys on the top spots of the podium, Dean Cam and Ray Hislop. And a very big welcome to Alan Nash into third position for this one. Plenty of racing still to go. We've got a bit of a clean-up to do after that sports sedan event. Have a look at those licorice straps, all of those lock-ups down into Dandenong Road. A very, very famous ribbon of racetrack we're looking at there. Cars on track next will be the Formula Vs. Formula Vs will be on track next, so we're just waiting for those cars in the marshalling area. Formula Ford, the next one's out. Historic touring cars. Wow, we've got a tough field of historic touring cars joining us here this weekend. It looked to be a majority of V8s, and you'd have to suspect that, hey, it is Sandown, and if you've got cubic inches, they do exactly what you need them to do here. Two big drag strips and some very tricky ribbons of track, and that shot there, how iconic is that shot? 100 years of Penrite emblazoned across the barrier at the top there, iconic in itself, and then this ripple strip ridden bit of track here, this ribbon down into Dandenong Road. Let's go down to pit lane with Emma Dean.
Thanks, Darren. I'm here with Luke Combo. You weren't at Magic last year. You had a bit of a rebuild going on.
Yeah, we ran the car at about 6 hours last year, like for the improved production supports, and it was due for its engine rebuild just on kilometres. It had been a couple of seasons. We ordered pistons for it, and there was a little bit of a joke in my team because my wife and I conceived a little girl at a similar point in time to when we ordered pistons, and our daughter arrived before the bits from America did. So unfortunately, we missed most of the season, but it's back together now, and it's been pretty quick this weekend. So looking forward to race 1.
Wow, that's a bit of a story. So your brake's been full of chips and your car
and then we had some work challenges last year. We upsized and downsized there, so it's been a busy back half of last year, but things are hopefully all smooth sailing from now and we can have a good season.
And the improved production category has been going gangbusters. Island Magic, which unfortunately you missed, was just record-breaking for those guys. What are you expecting for 2026?
Unsure. We were thinking it was going to be a big season this year, and then the entry numbers are pretty thin this weekend. So hopefully, I know there's a few reasons for a few people out. So hopefully, as the season goes on, a few numbers come back. We've got the Nationals over in Perth this year, so that's it'll be a fair trip. I don't know if we'll get over there, but we might have to try and have a look. And we'll just see. Hopefully, the grid numbers get bumped up for the next one.
Okay, great. And what are you looking forward to for this weekend? We've got great weather, we've got great conditions for racing. Have you got any challenges with the car this weekend, given that you've done a rebuild?
From the car's point of view, we had a little technical issue with it yesterday. It had one side of the engine flamed out with an electrical problem. It turned one side of the coil packs off, but we think we've solved that. The big thing for improved production this year is that we've got a new tyre. We've gone from the Yokohama to the Bridgestone. We've done a bit of testing on it. We obviously haven't done any racing on it. So we think we've got a handle on it, but we're not entirely sure whether what it'll do over an 8, 10, 12 lap race round.
Yeah, and just for the folks at home that may not be acquainted with what the difference is between tyre choice or tyre brand, you've gone from a Yokohama?
Yep. Yeah.
And now you're on the Bridgestone. So what are you expecting the major difference to be on the Bridges?
It's just learning. From what we've found in practice, it's got a different. We think it's got a different sidewall construction, so it's a bit more compliant on the sidewall. It seems to drive a little better and stop longitudinally. It seems to have an advantage over the Yokohama, but we're still trying to work out how hard we can lean on it over a stint laterally to see how well it's going to put up with the abuse. So I'm sure at the end of the first race here we'll all be either scratching our heads or really happy.
And given that it's IPRA, I don't think there's much difficulty getting warped into those new bridges, is there?
Look, there's the thing with the improved production. There's such a big diversity in the category as far as cars. So it's everything from big horsepower heavy V8s through to the Hyundai XLs and some other under 2 litre cars run with us. So I'm sure for us, the quicker, heavier guys don't have any trouble getting warmth in them. It's sort of the opposite. But I know a couple of the other guys were struggling to get some warmth in them initially when they were first out testing. So I'm sure by the end of the weekend we'll all be experts.
Well, it sounds like there's a lot to look forward to in 2026. Luke, thanks so much for taking the time to chat with me in pit lane.
No worries. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I've got a really special person with me in pit lane here. We've got Paul Ziddy, the chairman of VSRS, Victorian State Racing Series. Paul, 2025 in a short recap?
2025, a tough year, a rebuilding year. There we saw some calendar changes, but overall, once again, the motor racing community of Victoria got behind us, supported us. Our four clubs, the MG Car Club, the Sports Sedan Association, Vic Mini Club and PIARC, delivered stellar rounds, great seasons of racing all throughout, but building into bigger and better for 2026.
Okay, and on that, so 2026, what can we expect for the viewers at home?
More of the same. The best motorsport you're going to see, grassroots motorsport at the highest possible level, brought to you with the incredibly professional live streaming coverage that we do with Blendline TV and the amazing commentary team, your good self, Darren Smith, Callum Brannigan, all of our other specialist commentators. It's just the best coverage you'll see anywhere. I mean, who needs supercars when you got Blendline TV and Victorian State Circuit Racing Championships?
Exactly, and we've also got Wolfchester on board, and we've got a new tyre manufacturer in the mix.
Yeah, look, we're just thrilled to have Wolfchester on board as a naming rights sponsor here, joining 888 Home Loans, who will be bringing us Calder, obviously, and one of our original and longest-standing partners in bringing the motor racing to you via Blendline here in Victoria. So we're just thrilled to have them aboard.
And Paul, I know you can't have favourites because this whole thing is your child. What do you look forward to most when you come to a race weekend?
Generally, I look forward to racing, but at the moment I'm sort of between cars. My usual ride is being leased out to Tabitha Ambrose. I'm absolutely loving watching her race that and do so well in it. But for me, I just love getting here and more wandering around the pits and catching up with all the guys I know and girls I know in pit lane, seeing them work on their cars, talk to them about what they've done in the off-season. It's the passion, right? The amount of passion that these people bring to the track, the time and the effort, just love it.
Okay, thank you so much, Paul. Thanks for spending some time with us, and hopefully the rest of the weekend is a great success.
Absolutely. Thanks for the interview.
Thank you.
Big thank you to Emma Dean downstairs there with not only Luke Gretsch-Cumbo from Improved Production, but Paul Ziddy, who himself is no stranger to race cars here at Sandown International Motor Raceway. He's very familiar with the Formula Ford and being an open-wheeler pilot, and we've got another open-wheeler category coming out here for their opening race of the weekend. It is, of course, the 4-speed VW-engined Formula Vs. I'm Steve DeVries, and opposite me is Tom Reed. Tom, great to have you on board here. We have a look at the starting grid. There's a lot of change in this grid compared to what we saw 12 months ago, but not only that, we've got a new face on pole position for the very first time this weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. Brock Hamilton in car number 11 lines off for his very first pole position in Formula V racing. Ashley Whittington, a very experienced operator behind next to him in position number 2. Andre Curran off the second row in position number 3. Ashley Clifford alongside him. Grant Kelly in 5th. Darren Power 6th. Ayrton Filippi 7th. And Malachi Windsor rounds out your top 8.
Over the page we go. We get to 9th place on the grid, which is the returning Jason Kay. He's got Rob Vile next door to him. And then Cameron Bell in the number 4 Sabre 02 starting in 11th. And then hopefully the first of the debutants this weekend. There are 6 of them this weekend. And Blake Purvis is scheduled to start in 12th, but that car's undergone a bit of surgery over the last several hours, so we'll hopefully see if he can make that out. Ahead behind him it was Josh Munro and Mick Fisher. And then the 2 debutants out of Sabre Racing Car stable, Declan Collison and Nathan Jones in 15th and 16th. And rounding out the field, we have David Temmie out of the Acura Motorsports stable, Corey Horter, Ivan Vitti, and then Max Bonney and Matt Gangi, the 2 1200 class cars that are with us here this weekend. We don't see a lot of them. Good to see Matthew there. He's become a club member in the last month or so with the 1200cc there. And Max Bonney, he's got so much history in Formula V. He's been around the traps for years. He's competed at national challenges. He's competed in historic racing, and he's got that beautiful car of his out there. There it is, the purple one there on screen. Second one last in the one in the queue there. It's great to have him back out here, just putting around and just doing what he loves.
Well-known and well-respected name in the Formula V land, mainly in the 1200 side of things. Expect to see him down at Phillip Island for the Classic there in the third weekend of March. With a reasonable field of Formula Vs, very similar quality to what we have here for round one of the Victorian Circuit Racing Championships. Round one of the Trophy Tour, of course, presented by Wolfchester, and we're looking forward to a 17-minute affair for the Formula V's. Their first race of the season with Brock Hamilton, a first-time pole sitter.
Certainly is, and so much change in this Formula V field since 12 months ago. Lots of cars changing hands, lots of new drivers, lots of things that have happened, including the number one changing hands for the third time in as many seasons. It's Valentine's Day here at Sandown Motor Raceway, and we are underway for Formula V for the first race for them for the weekend. And up through these four-speed gearboxes we go. You don't use first gear, and apart from just pulling away from the grid, up into second, and then it's third and fourth for the rest of the journey. And while he might have started on pole, Brock Hamilton hasn't had the best start here. He's just going to have to play a little bit of defence, but he's just struggled to hold off the advances there of the defending series champion, Andre Curran, in the Aussie Boat Sales number one machine. Goes through into second. Ash Quiddington with a good start off the second position grid spot. He goes to first, demotes Hamilton down to third. As we pour out of turn number 4 for the first time, it looks like Darren Power might have managed to gain a spot or two there. He's moved himself up to looks like about 6th place on the road, so handy start for him. And he's taken over a car that's recently been vacated by the third place man from last year, Rocco Spinley.
So here we go, up the back straight for the first time, car number 1 taking the race lead from Ashley Quiddington, and then Brock Hamilton falling back to P3 on that opening straight, his first time on pole position, so perhaps a few nerves, but he's got that sorted. Side-by-side action there for 4th and 5th. That was car number 17 there of Ashley Clifford in the Sabre 02, fending off the 93 there of Grant Kelly in the Stinger.
Yeah, good move there from Ash around the outside at turn number 6. He got a little bit loose, it looked like, as he came down through turns 7 and 8, but he managed to hold off the number 93 Stinger going down into Dandenong Road corner. Now, that's important because they're going to have to get a bit of a wriggle on in a hurry. I think I can see already that Hamilton has lost probably a good second to the leading pair of cars, and in fact you can see it on the timing there. He's 1.2 seconds away from the back of Ash Quiddington's Sabre 02, and he's towing along Clifford and Grant Kelly with him. They've got to get a wriggle on pretty quickly, otherwise they're going to lose touch with the two of them, and it's just going to then become a two-horse race for the win. So you need to keep in that draft. You need to keep that carrot very, very close to you. You need to use that draft, especially on these two big, long straights here. The front straight from the last corner down to turn 1, and from turn 4 all the way up to turn 6. You've got to be within striking distance, otherwise you're a sitting duck.
Fair bit of wheel work there on the exit curb of turn number 1 from Hamilton as he's soaring at it to try and, like you said, catch the front two guys who seem to be skipping away ever so slightly. Car number 1 swings to driver's right, and he's able to hold that lead this time by over the top of the hill, Quiddington, right on the 4-speed gearbox there of the race leader.
Certainly is. So they're just holding themselves at a nice distance at the moment. They're just maintaining that gap. They're trying to work together. They've realised that they can work together, either draft and pull each other along and just play a little bit of leapfrog here and there and tow each other a bit further away, and then get themselves in a position where they're not under threat from Hamilton, Clifford and Kelly behind. So that's the next group of 3 cars there. And then you've got Windsor, who's leading the next group. He's at the front of 3 Acura cars there, 6th through to 8th. And then Rob Vile and Jason Kay rounding out the top 10 as it sits right now is Josh Munro, number 76. Did have some Logicalis branding on it a couple of years ago. It's now got the Motolytics branding on the front of that car. It's good to have him back in the field. It's been a few years since we saw him out last. He's also the reason why there's no orange race tape left in the state of Victoria, as if you go by the trophy he won a couple of years ago, which ironically was a roll of orange race tape. As we go back to this little fight here for what's 4th and 5th on the road, Kelly had a little bit of a look down the inside at turn number 4 and defended well by Clifford. A bit wide there at the back of the shot there. That was Ed Filippi, I think, in the number 46. And now down to the rear of the field. So everywhere you look, up and down the field here in Formula V, there is plenty of battles going on. And this is one between David Temmie, who's another one of the 6 debutants here this weekend. The former Air Force fighter pilot, now a Qantas captain, is doing this for the love of it, and here you can see there's got the P plate there on the back of that car, and Max Bonney in the 1200, much more experienced campaigner, was glued right to his gearbox.
Battle still going on here with car 93 there of Grant Kelly fending off the 17 there. The Sabre 0-2 through the final couple of corners, and expect the number 17 there of Ashley Clifford to get a nice run down the front straight. 7.5 minutes left on the clock. It is now Ashley Quiddington, your race leader, setting the fastest lap last time round of a 28.5. For reference, your pole time from Brock Hamilton was a 28.9 earlier on this morning. Car number 1 going for the race lead again, and he gets it into turn number 1. Brock Hamilton now closing in to make it a 3-car battle for the race lead.
Yeah, he definitely has. He's got that margin down. It was to 1 second across the line, but he has definitely reeled in a lot more of that in the braking zone going into turn number 1. So he'll be with them in a few moments' time. So see this car here, the number 44 of Darren Power, the first of the the second of the Acura Motorsport machines on the road. This is the car we said was campaigned formerly by Rocco Spindley last year. It was green and red back then, and he's gone on to some bigger and better things. There's down the bottom end of the field here. Oops, there's a couple of debutants there. Oh, and some heavy contact with the wall there. The number 22 of Matthew Gangi, just getting a little bit out of control there as he tried to round up Ivan Vitti in the number 84 Gerbert.
Kept it rolling there. Pretty tough suspension on a Formula V.
Yep.
Strong front beam there. And now we look back at the front three, who have sort of broken away, and Hamilton was able to close that margin and make it a 3-car breakaway at the front of the field. Car 12 using a heck of a lot of curb through the final right-hander on the lap, trying to set his run up to break the toe from your reigning champion. Car number 1 there of Andre Curran, who sits nicely in the slipstream. He did the fastest lap last time round at a 28.2, so going faster again, pulling out from the toe and sending his way up the inside. He will already be almost clear. Yes, he is by the time they get to the braking zone of turn number 1.
Down into turn number 1 we go, led by car number 1. 12 and 11 right behind him, so 3 Sabres all nicely in a line here. So the pole sitter at the back of this little group of 3. It's not a bad spot to be. You can afford to just sit there and just let the 2 drivers ahead just work your way forward. This is a fantastic sight to see. This is young Blake Purvis, the son of Shane Purvis, who's campaigned this car for many, many seasons now, the number 6 Joust Racewear entry. And he's had a little bit of a rough introduction this weekend. There's been a whole bunch of parts thrown at this car, and this was the camaraderie of Formula V on full display this afternoon. That car had a damaged H-beam, it had damaged gearbox, and there were people from all different teams swarming all over it. People from Sabre racing teams, from Silver Fox, and the team themselves. They were down there pouring every possible effort into that car to get it out and running, and it was absolutely fantastic to see that he's made it out onto the circuit. That is fantastic.
Yeah, that car was in a pretty bad way at the end of qualifying. Still was able to put it in position number 12 with a 32.7, but quite a ways off the front guys who are now on shot. Quiddington still able to hold the race lead from car number 1, of course. Quiddington, your 2024 champion, and he relinquished that last year to Andre Curran, who's looking to go back-to-back in 2026. Battle on shot here. Car 4 there. That is Cameron Bell fending off from the number 30 of Nathan Jones, who's swarming all over the 4-speed gearbox. He only used really 3 gears, third and fourth gear throughout the race. Of course, pulling off the line from first. Quick change into second, then a quick change up to third, using third and fourth for the majority of the lap.
They know the two factory Sabre racing machines going past Cameron Bell there. So you've got Declan Collison and you mentioned Nathan Jones there. These 2 drivers, they've come out of the hire karting fraternity. They've had a couple of sessions just to get familiar with the car, a couple of test days, and even the Sabre racing team guys themselves admit that it's going to be a little bit of time before they start to really fully get comfortable with these cars. And even multi-time state champion Heath Collinson, who's working down there with the Sabre crew, even he said it took him a good 3 to 4 years to get up to speed with what these cars are capable of. And once you get familiar with it, and once you get comfortable with it and realise where the limitations are, you can push and you can start to really explore your speed and really explore what possibilities you can undertake in Formula V racing. Just noticed as well on the bottom of the timing screen, Ayrton Filippi, who's a returnee to the category after a little bit of time spent away in Formula RX-8. He's unfortunately come to pit lane, so not quite sure what's going on there with him.
Here comes the snake down the front straight, the 3-car breakaway, still led by Quiddington, Curran, and Hamilton running in third. Quiddington doing all he can to fend off, but it's not going to be enough with the toe being so strong slight headwind, not really enough, and there's a car off here, one of the Sabre factory cars.
Yeah, that's the number 30 there of Nathan Jones. So he's gone around at turn number 9. Very, very easy thing to do. That section coming from turn 6 all the way down to turn number 9 is a very, very tricky part of the course. It looks simple on the camera, but you approach turn 6 where these guys are heading towards now at so much speed, you can't see the other side of the turn until you get right on top of it. So you get to turn 6, you know you're going to the left, but it's not until you crest that top at turn 6 that you really start to see where the line forms underneath you. So you've always got to make sure you hit your mark coming into turn 6 every single time, spot on the mark every single lap. Otherwise, you end up in a bit of trouble where you either outbrake yourself or you backside cut this part of the course here, and then if you get your braking all wrong or you get your acceleration a little bit wrong, you end up looping the car around like Nathan has just done.
So here's the replay. Couldn't really see any witness marks on the road. Maybe there was a tangle between the two factory cars there.
Possibly. I wouldn't...
can't throw blame just yet.
Can't throw blame just yet. Absolutely right. But just looking at the angle he's come off at, he's done it again. And there's actually some damage on the front of the number 30 there. So I think he's actually impacted the Armco there. I'm going to suggest that maybe he got up on a curb and maybe put a little bit of accelerator on and a little bit too aggressively, and maybe has rotated the car, and probably in both instances there. We double waved yellows down here.
This could be a race for the winner, just at this moment if we do go safety car.
Yeah, so there's been a bit of word from the officials. They will try and recover cars under yellow flags where possible, but if they do need to stop the race, they will stop it. Now, fortunately, he's off the racing line, so he's off to the left, and everybody sees it, so that's an acknowledgement from Whittington there, and you can see, in actual fact, he's managed to get that going. So the angle that wheels it, spot on. Just a bit too aggressive there. Oh, big hit.
Wow.
The nose cone took most of the impact, and it was this angle here that I thought that the tyre was actually, and the suspension at the front, the H-beam's actually bent. So he's trying to limp that back to pit lane, and we'll see how we go. So it was a very brief yellow flag, if anything at all. It may not be race-defining just yet, but there was the possibility that if it had stayed a stationary car, he very well could have been a race-defining moment here. As it stands, the number 1 of Andre Kieran still leads.
So expect to see perhaps the last lap board this time by. We have 20 seconds left on the clock, and this is a pivotal moment in the opening race here for the Formula Vs, with Kieran still leading, but this will give, you would say, the advantage to car number 12 here with a tow down the front straight away, and now battle throughout the field. A white flag, that is for the slower car there, car number 30, who had the impact with the wall just to drivers left there. So getting out of the way nicely. That car will be a handful with the broken steering, there's no doubt.
I think Darren Power has got his hands full here, because look at this. He's got Mick Fisher, a bit of a resurgent Mick Fisher here, is having a really, really good run for a change, coming right up to the back gearbox of the number 44, dragging along with him Rob Vile and Jason Kay in the Stinger. They are all lining up to pass Darren Power in the Jason number 44 as what we believe possibly may be the final lap of this race. No official word yet. Can't see any boards being hung out to say that it is the last lap, so we'll have to just wait and see what happens there. Very nearly a 3-wide moment into turn number 4, and Power holds on for the moment. But for how much longer?
So no last lap board that time by. Might have jumped the gun, so expect to see it this time round, perhaps with Kieran still leading from Whittington and Hamilton there. Those 3-car breakaway, then it's a 4-second margin from Hamilton to Clifford there for the final podium position, which isn't looking like it's going to change. We get through the slower lap traffic here, and Whittington looks to have gone up the inside at Dandy Road.
I reckon Whittington pulled the trigger there, going up the back straight towards turn number 6, and then the lap traffic's come to a little bit of gave him a little bit of an advantage there, but only very, very slightly. So has he timed this run perfectly? Are they going to wave the checkered flag this time, or is this going to be the beginning of the final lap? We will wait and see. No checkered flag yet. Last lap board being held out. There it officially is. It's being held out down low, not being up high in the control tower. So there's a little bit of trepidation here because there is some lap traffic involved. And look, it almost might be like a parting of the Red Seas here. Max Bonney sees the race leaders coming. He pulls out and the action and lets them all go through. That's good racecraft. The next one is Ivan Vitti in the number 84. He stays as far to the left as he possibly can and gives these race leaders all the room they possibly can. Great driving by the 2 back markers to realise the situation and get out the way as quickly as possible. But what happens now up the back chute? Quiddington's got a nice little advantage at the moment. It was only about a couple of tenths as we go back to this battle as Fisher finally gets down the inside of Power. That's for position number 7. That's a very nice move at turn number 4. And now Jason Kay's going to try to go the long way around the outside of his stablemate, and he gets it done. Very brave move around the outside at turn number 2 as Odds Curran has a real red-hot go up the back straight at Quiddington, who defends for the moment, then pulls a very early turn for turn number 9. That was very, very brave, considering that is a noted passing zone down at turn number 9. That took some guts to pull that move off and hold the position. Hamilton has a bit of a sneaky look up the inside at the second to last corner. He hasn't got enough real estate to make it happen, and the 2024 champion is going to get one on the 2025 champion to start the weekend.
Quiddington comes across the line to pick up race number 1 for the Formula Vs, and this battle is still going on in a big way. Car number 44 of Darren Power in the mix here, and I think is that Malachi Windsor heading the train?
No, it's not. It's the number 33, the Builders Crane Hire entry there of Mick Fisher holding up this train for 7th. Kelly and Clifford and Windsor are all across the line. This is going to be he's going to be pleased as punch with this one, Mick Fisher. He's going to hold on to P7, his best finish as far as I can remember. He's going to be mightily happy with that one, getting the advantage over Darren Power and Rob Vile, a couple of seasoned campaigners there, elder seasoned campaigners in a field of drivers that is much, much more their junior. Great job by all 3 of them. Jason Kay, who's been away for a couple of years, comes home there in 10th.
Purvis there coming home in position number 11. A fantastic job to see that car actually in the mix for this race, given what happened in qualifying. Then we go back to Munro in 12th. Collinson in one of the factory Sabre cars coming home 13th. Cameron Bell 14th. Corey Horder rounding out the top 15.
So that's a good move from Declan Collison there. He picked up 2 or 3 spots on the road compared to where he started, and a number of drivers held their position. When you look at the order there, you see Blake Purvis, who started in 12th, finished 11th, and he gained that position by virtue of Ayrton Filippi, who started ahead of him, dropping into the pit lane. But for the Purvis crew, they'll just be happy to see that car come home after a mammoth effort to get it out onto the track. So that is race number 1 for Formula V for the weekend completed here at the Wolfchester Sandown Challenge. Great to have their support, and it was great to see a number of the competitors going down to Trade Alley, grabbing some bits and pieces to use on their race cars across the weekend. There were some great shots of people with Wolfchester stickers and Wolfchester components and all branded means of tools and accessories that they've grabbed while they've had the opportunity to do so. So without them, we wouldn't be able to go racing at a reasonable cost. So a big thank you to Wolfchester for their support here this weekend at the opening round of Trophy Tour Victoria. As we await things here, we're about to go to Formula Ford, who'll be the next category coming up. It's a category that's close to your heart there, Tom.
Absolutely, can't wait.
So not too far away from Formula Ford coming out. They're just going to do a little bit of an inspection down here at turn number 3 by the looks of things. And we will be back very shortly with Formula Ford.
Welcome back to the Victorian Circuit Racing Championship for round one of the Trophy Tour presented by Wolfchester here at Sandown International Motor Raceway. Up now we have Formula Ford, 5 Duratec cars and about 8 Kent cars to round out Class B. I'm joined by Paul Ziddy, who's got a wealth of experience in Formula Ford racing over the years. Pleasure to have you, Paul.
Thank you, Tom, and as always, a pleasure to be here. Round one, as you say, always exciting start of the season, and here we are at what is the spiritual home of Formula Ford in Australia, going back to 1969. This venue played host to the very first ever Formula Ford race in the country. So it's always a pleasure to be back at Sandown Raceway calling Formula Ford racing.
And I believe that first race was around about the February time of year, so pretty historic venue for Formula Ford around this time. Having a look there at the an historic car, Chris O'Connor in the Royale RP31. That was the championship winner in 1984, driven by Ron Barnacle in the Driver to Europe series. That is a 1982 Royale chassis, RP31, and Chris competes in a number of the historic races. Another car on the other side of the shot there, car 70, Phil Marinon. That is a Galloway. That was the 83 championship winning car, driven by Bruce Connolly. So great to have the 83 and the 84 championship winning cars, as well as Richard Davidson's car, which was campaigned by his sons, and also Garth Tander, who took home the 96 Australian Championship.
Yeah, just sensational to see those cars, such rich history and so beautifully presented. If you get an opportunity to go and have a look at these cars, the love and attention that's gone into preparing them and presenting them is incredible.
Especially by that lady there on shot, Alice Piccolo and Luke Ellery, who run a number of historic and modern day Kent Formula Fords. They do a fantastic job in car preparation. Andrew Torty there on the other side, he will line off from position at number 2 in the Kent field. The Queenslander, run by Brett Francis Racing, who also has a Duratec car in the field, the McGale, who is the driver of that car, competing in his first Formula Ford race after transitioning from AFL football. So decided to do something different, and he's gone with 4 wheels on a motor car and an engine.
AFL to Formula Ford racing. Well, they seem very similar skill sets. So looks like we've got one of the cars struggling to get away from the
77
grid.
Jet
Yep,
Lester.
but he's on his way, which is good to see. That was Jet Lester, who we were just speaking about in his first Formula Ford race, probably waiting for the siren.
So the Duratec cars roll out on the track, and the Kent cars should be released now out of the dummy grid. So we'll get to the running order in just a moment there. Peter Fitzgerald rolling out of the dummy grid, Gavin Dumas in the McGale there, and he's got his stablemate starting just behind him with Adrian Wilkinson in between those guys. So we'll and then there's the beautiful Ray, the GR07, the only Ray in the country at the moment, just imported at the start of 2025 by Chris Davison. But we'll run you through the grid here. We have Giuseppe Imbrogno, the only returning Duratec Formula 4 driver in the field. The time of 1 minute 16.3 was his qualifying time. That was good enough to get him pole position. Samuel March in car number 15 lines off next to him on the front row. Jet Lester, who we were just mentioning before, from Queensland, in position number 3. William Hickey off position number 4. And the final Duratec class car is Xavier Henderson, the Western Australian, in car number 8. We'll round out a 5-car Duratec field here, as we have the Kent field being held up by Andrew Torty, who's probably playing a couple of mind games here with Richard Davison already.
Yeah, not sure. Could have just been a little bit slow getting away from the grid, but you'll see that they grid them up with a gap between. So you've got you hear us talk about the Duratec and the Kent cars. Kent being the old Mark II Cortina engine, which originally powered the class in the 1960s, and then in the mid-2000s there was a change to the Duratec engine from the Ford Fiesta. Makes a little more power, and obviously a more modern fuel-injected engine just all makes it all a little bit more economically and reliably. So the faster Duratec cars and newer cars are running at the front, with the young guns looking to build a career, and more typically you've got your gentleman racers at the in the Kent cars who are rounding that out and utilising that old engine and the historic cars that we see there. So it will be interesting to see them all gridded up. They'll leave it. You'll notice about a 2 to 3 grid gap between the last Duratec car and the first of the Kent cars when they do line up. For the viewers at home, we can see the front of the grid is lined up and in position, just waiting for the others to come around now, and they should be coming around to take the grid up very, very soon.
So a long hold for the front of the Duratec cars. Richard Davison, the first of the Kent cars, already taking his grid slot a handful of seconds ago, and Andrew Torty, well, like I said, probably playing some mind games here to leave him out to dry on the grid, but we'll sort that out as the race goes on. I'm sure those guys will have a ding-dong battle like they usually do. Mark Zellner pulling into his grid spot there in the Miguel car, steeped in a fair bit of history in Formula Ford. Yellow flags are moved away as the cars form up, and we are set with a green flag at the back. 5 Duratec cars to take the start here in the first class, in the first race of Formula Ford, and it's a lot of wheel spin from your pole sitter to set the Imbrogno with Samuel March alongside him, but it seems to be Imbrogno that's got the first couple of conversions there from the start line and should lead us down into turn number 1. The Miguel there at the 77 looking for a move. That's Jet Lester. Can he stick his nose up the inside, give enough room to car 15 who goes way out over the exit curb? And these guys will sort it out into turn number 2. Richard Davison taking the lead of the Kentfield. Andrew Torty going for a huge move there. I'm not sure if he was able to pull that off. And then we have car 8 there of Xavier Henderson. Furious.
There was a lot going on, as there always is in Formula Ford. No quarter asked, none given. It was, incredibly... Fortunately, everyone got through unscathed, but in both the Kent and the Duratec classes, it was elbows out, trying to make it through and hold position. But a great start for Giuseppe Imbrogno, running in the Synergy Motorsport prepared Spectrum, and he's managed to put a bit of a gap in the field, see if he can get on with it. A very difficult circuit, those long straights, and this is such a slipstreaming class. No aerodynamic downforce, so you're just looking for the slipstream to be able to keep that toe and be dragged along by the car in front. So hard to break away.
Absolutely.
Very hard.
Imbrogno making his intentions clear. The same can be said for Andrew Torty, who is right on the back of the LD200 gearbox there, Richard Davison, and he will go past on the front straight down into turn number 1. A battle there just on the front of the shots between the Duratecs there. That was car 15 of Samuel March holding off there from Jet Lester.
And just as we were talking about it, a beautiful demonstration on your screens. Both Samuel March in the Duratecs and now Andrew Torty in the Kents. Traditional slipstreaming battle, and you get that run, and the poor car in front left with no option but to yield as the extra speed generated from the toe just drafts them straight down into 1.
It's like the car behind is a 2-litre engine compared to the car in front with a 1.6. You just get that much more power from a slipstream.
Absolutely, and particularly at Sandown up the back straight here, you can see that they're coming up a hill, and it's actually the fastest part of the circuit here. They hit about 220 kilometres an hour up the back straight, around about 200, 210 on the front straight. So it pays even more dividends up the back, and I always say the circuits like here, it's like a 220 kilometre an hour game of chess, trying to work out where to position your car and when. 2
drag strips at Sandown make it pretty tricky to if you're the leading car on shot. There is Johnny Greig in his first Victorian State race meeting in a number of years, and that is the actual first race for this car, the black and grey car number 41. That's a Ray GR07, a 2007 built Ray, built by Gavin Ray. His father Bert Ray started that company out in the 60s, and it's still going today. It's a big name in British Formula Ford racing and worldwide now. There's a big lock up there from Torty just earlier on in the shot.
Yep.
And Wilkinson going for a move here on Mark Zellner.
Torturing those poor Yokohama AO48 control tyres. And they sent smoke signals, and those smoke signals said ouch.
So a big lunge there from Wilkinson, and a big lunge earlier on in the lap there from Andrew Torty. He's doing his best to keep a charging Richard Davison behind, who's just been, he seems to have stepped up another level this weekend in qualifying, banging out low 1:21 minute laps. And for someone his age to be able to do that consistently for 10 laps shows how switched on he is.
Yeah, absolutely. sure, he's he may not be the youngest guy in the field anymore, but the talent shines through, and he's doing really well. And Andrew is doing a magnificent job to be able to keep that car in front despite the tow. And you can see March with that tow has just set the fastest lap of the race with a 1:17. So they're a little bit off their qualifying pace at the moment, as you might expect with the circuit heating up. But we'll see what happens as the race unfolds. And here we see again Torty and Davison pulling out of the slipstream. Does he get the run this time? It looks like he has. Nothing Andrew can do about it in this case but to let him through. The lap before he tried to defend and hold on, and we saw what happened. He'll be feeling that through the steering wheel now. I think that was a front tyre that he locked up. So that flat spot, very, very analogue cars to drive. There's no power steering. You feel everything on the road, and that flat spot will be, the vibration will be felt through the steering wheel, and if he's got any fillings, they'll be a little bit looser at the end of the race.
Especially at a track like this, which is already notoriously bumpy. Yep. It's going to be a bit of a handful for Andrew Torty, the Queenslander, car 55 there, who's challenging up the inside, perhaps at turn number 6. Not really a traditional move if you're at least a car length behind. You generally have to be alongside, as demonstrated here by Gavin Dumas, who goes down the inside of car 17 there. Peter Fitzgerald, a long-time contender here in the Victorian State Race Series in the Kent Formula Ford class of things there. Richard Davison setting his PB last time round to overtake Andrew Torty of a 22.3. So the quickest Kent car out on track at the moment, with still Giuseppe Imbrogno leading by just a tick over 2 seconds. And his fastest lap set last time by was a 1:16.8. Samuel March in second with a 17.2. Big lunge here from Torty down the inside. Does he get that stop? That looked awfully close when they got to the apex of 1.
That did indeed. So we'll haven't seen any waving of flags just yet, so it looks like they did get through. And it was return serve on Andrew's turn this time with the tow. At that lead that Giuseppe Imbrogno has pulled out, bearing in mind he is the pioneer, he's not getting a tow from anyone. So that fastest lap he has been out on his own to build that 2-second gap. He is just driving so well. As you say, returning from last year, and he showed great talent, great pace in his first season. And he's taking all of that experience from last year, and there we see again a 16.69. He's just doing a superb job out in front.
Yeah, certainly building on that confidence from last year. Have a look at these guys for the last remaining spots in the Duratec field, going side to side there. That is the Hollinger Engineering car number 14 of William Hickey, holding off from the Western Australian driver there, car number 8 of Xavier Henderson, as they move through turn number 1. 4.5 minutes remaining. These guys pounding over the curves there in turns 2 and 3. Not really something you want to be doing in a Formula Ford.
No, the Sandown
big moment there.
Yep.
I think that's Hickey. He's lost it as he dropped it in the fencing. He's made contact with the rear right, but it doesn't really look to be bent there.
No, it looks not too bad. It looks like he has gotten away with that.
I'm a bit worried about the Kent field coming up here. Can he select reverse? He's going to try and do a flick spin, and he actually executes that pretty well.
Yep, he's done very, very well, the young man. He's and literally we were about to say, you had just made a very good observation that you don't really want to be on the curbs here. And different circuits, you see drivers all over the curbs. You look at, say, Phillip Island. Beautifully smooth track, very forgiving curves because of the fact that we have the bikes run there. And if you watch here, he gets up on that ripple strip, and you don't want to do that in the Formula Ford.
Very heavy contact with the front.
Fortunately, most of the impact was borne on the nose cone. And these cars, whilst you can only see that fiberglass nose cone, underneath that is an aluminium honeycomb crash structure, which protects the front of the car, protects the driver's feet. So quite a bit of safety built in and around that area.
He's pulling in.
Yeah,
I wonder if maybe that's had an impact with the master cylinder. I'm not too across the spectrums, but you would know better than me.
Yeah, look, the master cylinder's probably fine, but he's definitely hit the wheels. The front wheels have hit. He'll definitely have upset his steering. The other thing is you have an impact like that, you're doing 220 kilometres an hour.
At a track like
you
this,
probably want the team to have a quick look and make sure everything's okay.
Yeah, no point risking a car in the first round of a long season.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Torty takes over the lead here of the Kent of the Kent field from Richard Davison. Sorry to cut you off there.
No, I was about to say, what great racing. Isn't this superb? The Kents are just turning it on.
Throughout
Andrew
the field
and Richard.
here.
Yep.
Yeah, Wilkinson going for a move there on Johnny Gregg, and that was Mark Zellner just behind. So these guys are battling for 5th in class. Johnny Gregg doing his first race meeting in that Ray, and it's something that car owner Chris Davison, his father-in-law, is incredibly proud of. Zellner goes for a spin, and if he's trying not to get it beached on the curb here, so he's got to get it fired up and driven off that curb. And if you can't do that, there's a chance we go safety car. So trying to refire that car, it looks by the look of his by his head, trying to jolt it in the first gear, and it's high-sided. It's done.
It is turtled, unfortunately. The 40mm ride height, so it's not a lot, and that's exactly the point we were making with young William Hickey when he had his spin, is getting up on that curb. It literally turtled it where the bottom of the car was on the curb, the wheels were off the ground, and it just rotates. And very, very low ride height, very aggressive curbs here. You really want to stay off them, with the exception of a couple that you can run up on. But that's experience, right? It's his first race meeting. He's made that error, and I'm sure he won't make it twice.
You've got to push the limits to find the limits in these cars. Giuseppe Imbrogno with a 3.6 second margin out in front, and this battle to go back to the Kent field of Adrian Wilkinson in his Spectrum. Quite a newer car, probably the newest car in the Kent field there, holding off from Johnny Grigg and the Ray GR 07. That car of Johnny's came second place in the Formula Ford Festival, which is a fairly big deal back in 2014. It's a car previously run by Brian Sullers. We see the local yellow flags there. And this is a move for the lead of the Kent field. Richard Davison goes through on car number 55, so he takes the lead in his RF95 there from Andrew Torti, who had to relinquish that position. A textbook move up the inside at turn number 9.
Yeah, these two are having a ding-dong battle.
And he looks like he's got a car length here over Torti, so perhaps can break the toe down the front straight.
Yeah, look, here we're seeing this move here again, ran wide over the top, and that's just left the door open for Richard to get that move done. Also compromises his run out, which explains the gap that he's got there. But that toe will be in effect from 5-6 car lengths. It certainly does give the run. Obviously, they're coming into the yellows down here for Mark being beached off on driver's right. Richard acknowledges the yellow flag, and then they'll need to wait until they're past the next green flag before they can return to overtaking.
Actually looked like Andrew Torti closed a fair bit in that turn 1 to 4 complex there. The tricky, twisty bits that sets up your run down the back straight. A look through here at the Duratec field of Giuseppe Imbrogno leading from March in car number 15, and then the 77, the only McGale here this weekend as Torti goes through on your Kent race leader and reclaims class lead in car 55. The Brett Francis Racing prepared car takes over from the Ellery Motorsport RF95 there of Richard Davison, who's just fallen a couple of car links back there. But these guys have been towing past each other lap after lap after lap, very similar to Formula Vee Racing, which we just saw in the race earlier. Just looking out the window, and we're about to see on shot here, there is a last lap board, so your Duratec and your Kent class cars have taken the last lap board. So Giuseppe Imbrogno with almost a 6-second lead is looking pretty good here. And here is the battle for the Kent field. You almost sort of want to be in second place running up the back straight, I feel here, Paul.
Well, typically that would be exactly right. So you would say in a perfect strategy, if you were allowed to pick your race, Andrew is in the box seat, and here comes Giuseppe Imbrogno to take a well-deserved first victory for the season. Round 1, race 1, takes the checkered. Great start for him and the Synergy Motorsport team. Great way to open your campaign.
Absolutely a dominant performance there from Giuseppe Imbrogno. 7.5 second lead there. His fastest lap of the race is 16.6. Here we turn our attention to a fast-charging Andrew Torti going for a huge lunge at turn 6. High speed, throw it through the S's. He's going to have one more look here, but he's a little too far back, so Richard has to hit his marks. He saw the rear end of the car have a slight slide here, and he's going to have to protect the driver's right through the last couple of corners. He leaves the door open, and Torti is no doubt going to try and send it up the inside. No, he wasn't quite close enough, so I think Richard will put the power down here. He's got a couple of historic cars to navigate, but he's going to come across the line and take honours in the Kent field. So Richard Davison wins from Andrew Torty, and further back will be Peter Fitzgerald having that battle with Gavin Dumas.
Fantastic racing, and well done by Richard to hold that position over the top and take a well-deserved win in the Kent class as well.
Yeah, here comes Adrian Wilkinson and Johnny Greig. These guys battling for 5th spot in class. Can Greig get the run out of the final corner? No will be the answer. And Adrian Wilkinson will hold on in his Spectrum, will hold off the fast-charging Ray there, as we see Gavin Dumas and Peter Fitzgerald going through on shot. Fitzy with an engine cover that's come slightly loose there, so perhaps Byron Thomas down in the pits has to tighten that up a bit harder next time.
Yeah, get that Zeus fastener done up, and that would have not helped at all to have a nice big parachute hanging off the back of your car.
No, absolutely. As I think Mark Zellner might have just backed into the fence there trying to restart his car, and he's just getting himself comfortable to drive back into the pits. So disappointing. I'm sure he'd be disappointed with that result, given it's generally a 5-round campaign, and if you have a DNF, it costs you big points in the Victorian Formula 4 Championship. So Giuseppe Imbrogno takes home honours in race 1 of round 1. Samuel March in 2nd, Jet Lester in 3rd, Xavier Henderson 4th, and then we saw one of the other Duratec cars of William Hickey have quite a large impact just off shot there, similar to what Mark Zellner did, but a little bit further down the road on the exit curve. So hopefully that car should be A-OK for tomorrow morning.
Yeah, and in fact,
once over.
Looking at the results, it appears that they may well have gotten him back out to circulate and to be declared finisher. As I say, just quite sensible to bring the car in, have the team have a look and make sure all was good.
Absolutely. So that was Formula Ford for race number 1 here at the Victorian State Race Series. And up next we will have the historic touring cars for their 17-minute race. Don't go anywhere.
Well, folks, here at the Wolfchester Sandown Challenge, we've made our way down to Trade Alley, where we've got quite the Wolfchester activation. And to join us and talk to us more about Wolfchester is John. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. But more importantly, thank you for jumping on and supporting the Trophy Tour.
Mate, you're welcome. We're actually first one out for the season, and the boys aren't here, so they're actually up in Bathurst. So all this, we take credit, not them. No Trent, no Glenn. This is the guys. So, yeah, we're pretty wrapped. It's a great setup, and, we're happy, being one of the main sponsors for this weekend, and looking forward to having a really big day tomorrow.
So tell us about Wolfchester and the product ranges for vendors, for customers. Tell us about the Wolfchester story.
Okay, so we're an Australian-owned company. We manufacture in Australia, which is great, and we're really proud of that. We do automotive and industrial consumables, so across the board we do pretty much everything from your fasteners right through to toilet paper. So, we do everything right across the board. And like today, we brought a lot of our products that we do have on board are specific for race day, for the race cars. If you go across and you look at some of the products, you can see that we've got like your RTVs, we've got your, brake cleaner, which, look proud of that one. That's manufactured here in Dandenong, actually. So it's only around the corner. So, yeah. We've got a full range of products, and we don't only do, for the racing component, we do across the board and everything from transport, agriculture, mate, you name it, we do it.
So obviously aligning with Trophy Tour, you've got quite the captive community, a lot of participants here who would be purchasing your product. So you'll be seeing your fair share of the races, the mechanics, all those people coming throughout the weekend. Yeah.
Actually, they're first day. And most of the guys that we did sell to today are all off, from that race. They've come over, they've bought hand cleaners, they've bought, like a lot of them have bought gloves. We manufacture our own gloves as well. So, for the average, Joe Blow down the road to the top end mechanic, So, yeah, the guys have been good. They've been very supportive, which I'm pretty happy about that.
Yeah. Look, thank you so much for jumping on board, supporting the Sandown Challenge, Wolfchester Sandown Challenge, the inaugural event for the Trophy Tour as we launch into 2026.
Go get them, Wolfies.
Great stuff. Thank you down there, Callum, and all the team at Wolfchester. You are trackside The Trophy Tour 2026, the Wolfchester Sandown Challenge will launch in the not-too-distant future, March 20 through to 22. The 888 Home Loans Calder Revived event, May 1 and 2. We'll see us at Winton. Sandown again here for the 7th to the 9th in August. And then the Island Grand Final in October, the 2nd right through to the 4th. Stay tuned right throughout the 2026 season to the Trophy Tour on our broadcast, done by our broadcast partners at Blendline TV. You know them because we love tuning into all of the products that they put up there week in, week out. Grassroots Racing and Blendline TV, second to none in presenting the genre as we are about to go historic touring car racing. I'm Darren Smith and joined alongside with Matt Dunlop. We've done a couple of these races together, and you're talking about a couple of pretty die-hard traditionalists when it comes to historic touring car racing. Both Matt and I love this sort of stuff. It's awesome, isn't it, mate? It's these silhouettes that, as kids, we grew up. I know there's a generation between you and I, but you still identify with them real well, don't you?
Couldn't have said it better myself, Darren. They are gorgeous cars, and they go hand in hand with this Sandown facility so well, don't they? They've both got very similar vintages, I guess, you know, coming around in the mid to late 1960s. And the nature of this Sandown track just suits these cars so much. Big power circuit, lots of power going down through these V8s in a lot of cases, and it's going to be a great place for it. So let's run through the grid quickly. We've got Andrew Beard on pole position next to Scott Pearce, and then Darren Collins with Ben Wilkinson alongside. Chris Stern and Jeff Monday will be out of the third row, with Peter Muleman next to Nathan Gordon in 7th and 8th position. And then we go through the remainder of the 12-car field to Glenn Miles, Michael Michelli, Rodney Hodgkin in that gorgeous Falcon that we saw peel off from the dummy grid earlier with the Huru license plate, and Darren Jones starting at a 12th position. Beautifully presented field here today, Daz.
Yeah, cool to see a couple of XYGT HOs certainly starting to present back into historic touring cars. This car here, number 16, the Glenn Miles Valiant Charger, believe it or not, the only non-V8 here this weekend. It must be Sandown. You've got to have a V8 and you've got to have big cubes. And this car, number 16, Glenn Miles, he's a brave man fronting up, but he's got what it takes, because when it comes to Phillip Island and also Winton, he's going to position himself very, very nicely indeed in the championship. What a classy field this is. This is absolutely immense. When you look back down the field, and in 10th is number 69, Michael Michelli. In 7th is the great man Peter Muleman in the 43 all-black Mustang. That's how fast this field is, because there's 6 cars in front of these two that are all at a chance to win there. A couple of cars on the front row there just sneaking away. Have a look at Muleman get off the line there. He's grabbed 2 spots up the inside, and he's being followed through by the 6-pack there as well. So that's the big charge there as well. Glenn Miles trying to push through in the 6-cylinder, but down into turn 1. It'll be the General's product. Car number 86 of Andrew Baird that sees the very, very smart-looking car of Scott Pearce, the number 21, off a lock-up there in P3 for the 189 there of Ben Wilkinson. And up to turn 4 we go. There's the 97 in the mix there as well. Darren Collins, who for many years we saw him run the white Camaro. Now in a FOMO code. There goes Muleman. There goes Michelli. Those two are going to fight their way through this field as they all make their way out of turn 4. Have a look at that Camaro. Just drifting across to take the ultimate line on the driver's right at the top of the hill here. But wow, you've got a whole lot of ponies chasing him across the top of the hill.
So much displacement getting put through the rear wheels of these cars on the run up the hill into Dandenong Road for the first time in historic touring cars for 2026. And it's so good seeing these gorgeously presented cars just going hammer and tongs around this Sandown racetrack, as we see Andrew Baird is starting to peel away a little bit at the front, as these 2 Mustangs here of Pearce and Ben Wilkinson are battling it out here. Not too far behind them, though, is Darren Collins in the 97, who's been a stalwart of this Victorian series. We've seen quite a bit. It's normally been the Camaros that have really done the best here in historics, but these Mustangs are looking very, very racy here today.
Yeah, they're travelling in numbers here this week. And how cool's the flames out of Andrew Baird's 1969 Chevy Camaro there? That's what you like. That's what they did in the day. Raw, unburnt fuel, albeit leaded back in the day. But,
that's a raw burnt tyre there off the front of Wilkinson.
Isn't it? Torched it. Absolutely torched it going into there. There's Jeff Monday. He is always thereabouts in that red and black Camaro. Great to watch him. He's at every event. Michelli now. He is letting loose. Where has he found himself up to? 7th. So Michelli started out at 10th. A couple of spots there. He hasn't bought Pete Muhleman with him. In fact, Pete Muhleman's got a bit of a gap between the the front of his black Mustang and the back of Michelli's blue Boss Mustang in front of him.
Not what I was expecting to see, with just how brutal that start was. But, that is gorgeous out of both sides of the number 86 Camaro. Gee, that's a thing of beauty.
Isn't that ever? Wow, you can just about visualise some grainy black and white footage back in the day and some grainy commentary in the background and flames just bang, bang out the side of the Camaro all around the world, and particularly successful in the British touring car scene going right back in the day, the Camaros. But have a look at this. We've got genuine Ford versus Holden battle. I've probably got to recall my words this morning of the genuine Ford versus Holden battle in saloon cars. It's going off in historic touring cars as well.
It certainly is. And I tell you what, I'm looking at those spectators on Red Hill all the way at the back. They'd have an awesome view of these cars ripping up the main straight, and the sound. Oh, geez, that would be fantastic. So if you're up on Red Hill listening to these historic cars, watching them go past, enjoy it, savour it, because they're so good. And if you're not here, if you don't have any plans for tomorrow, what do you want to do? If you've got a car, you've got $10, bring your mates down, $10 entry for as many people as you can fit in your car, park on Red Hill and watch these things tearing around here all day tomorrow.
All I can say is you're welcome. First thing we said this morning on the broadcast was get up to Red Hill. You're absolutely welcome. Extend that invite to everybody that might be watching on the live stream. Hey, if you're sitting up in Albury, or you're in Echuca or Mildura or Mount Gambier, you've got plenty of time to get here. Get in the car with 5 mates, make a road trip of it, go through the night, get out here to Sandown and watch the racing. And let's not exclude everyone else that's got 5 or 10 minutes away from the track as well. Come and enjoy in live and in all dimensions. You don't miss out on any dimensions when you're at the track. I love the Blendline TV broadcast. I love what it does and gets the word out there, but still getting to the racetrack is second to none.
100%. Bring your esky, bring your sunscreen. It's going to be a pearl of a day.
Sunscreen. I meant to say that to you when you went out to check out Red Hill with Emma before. Yeah, priority number 1, definitely bring sunscreen.
It is biting this weekend, I tell you what. You would have seen our colleague Callum Brannigan on screen earlier. Luckily for him, that was a pre-record piece he did with Wolfchester, because he is very, very rosy after being out in the sun so far this weekend. So make sure you're well protected out there, folks, in terms of sunlight and keeping yourself covered. And make sure you can enjoy these cars as best as possible.
Have a look at this battle here with Monday and Stern. This is red hot as they've gone out of turn number 4. They climb the hill. There's our race leader, Baird over Pierce. And there's a little bit of a gap back to Ben Wilkinson. Darren Collins, a guy that knows about podiums. Side by side with the pair we mentioned coming out of turn 4. It's just that little bit more power on board the General's product. But wow, soaring at the wheel. Chris Stern has got that thing absolutely sliding across the top of the hill. Grabs the slide, uses it to his advantage in the 1968 Mustang.
He's been giving it everything. He's been trying his best to just stay on the back of that Camaro and get past. And you can see he's not leaving anything on the table as they go across the top of the hill into Dandenong Road. I'm just looking at the timing, and it looks like Michelli's in the pit lane, unfortunately, which is a shame because he was looking very racy in that number 69 machine, but not to be today, but still got lots of action out here. And now we're looking at Stern having another look. The draft is a bit more potent down the main straight because you've got a headwind, so he's pulled up the inside, parked that Mustang on the left-hand side. Can he get the move done? He has to take a lot of curb. That's going to slow him down a bit, but he has balked the 68 of Monday massively there, so that is a move done there for Stern. Probably not the smoothest way to go about it, but an overtake is an overtake.
A brilliant move there too. Only 4.9 litres there here in the track that rewards cubic inches. Monday just under 6 litres, or 5.895 in the Chevy there. So basically giving away a full litre of capacity there. He hung on under brakes. It's probably that the Pony Mustang is just a little bit lighter, and as we get sort of 3, 4, and actually 4 laps in now, yeah, the Camaro might be starting to feel a little bit squeamish under brakes. Use full advantage of it. That threshold of braking down at turn number 1 here at Sandown is absolutely a must. And I tell you what, if it's wet, It's about 650 metres further back up the road. It's like an ice skating rink down there in the wet. We're not going to experience it this weekend because it's going to be a beautiful rest of today and all day tomorrow. Around 28, 29 degrees, a little bit of a refreshing breeze throughout the day, so that'll keep things nice and sweet as we see more flames. I don't know, I reckon he's got a spark plug in that exhaust. He just hits under brakes there and all that raw fuel just gets flames coming out the side. But wow, it makes for good TV.
100%. He's got to have an ignition switch just under the brake pedal there, I reckon.
Yeah,
That's,
look at that.
That's looking sensational. And he's still feeling very comfortable about that pace because he knows he's got that number 21 of Scott Pearce in his rearview mirror, but he's still taking the fully wide line through turn 1 as we see some more battling back here. This is the six-pack of Glenn Miles in the number 16 car ahead of that GTHO Falcon of the number 48 of Rodney Hodgkin. That thing looks gorgeous as well. And yeah, now look at Scott Pearce all over Andrew Baird. So Baird's trying to make that Camaro as wide as he possibly can against that Boss 302 Mustang behind him.
Great to see the Charger and the GTHO. That was really what was at the front of the era of this improved production, as it was called in that era, Group N, Group NC. They were the cars, Aussie-built race cars. None of these two cars we're looking at here were American imports. And yeah, they were used by Bob Jane and Alan Moffat and other great names like that. But certainly those two, the Charger and the GTHO, came out of Australian-made factories. So a lead change at turn 1. The Chevy goes back a spot. Baird goes out over the back of the ripple strip, and we've lost Stern. Stern is parked up and not taking any further part in this, but there it is. The leaders swap back again. So a couple of corners and the Camaro just eases back in. What is really interesting here is the Darren Collins and Ben Wilkinson. I guess Collins is nowhere to be seen at the moment. There he is, appears in the black and orange Mustang, but Wilkinson's just off the back here. And if these two are going to swap positions like that, that gap, which we're currently to the leader, is 2.4, 2.0 to second spot. We'll keep an eye on that because, Matty D, I reckon that's going to start to close up.
Look at it now. It's already closing up. They're almost a 3-car battle for the lead at this stage. Just from this battling that you mentioned, he's right over the back of them, losing a little bit of pace now as they get the foot down, but under brakes, Wilkinson is looking sensational. You can see he's been trying to stop that car within a limit of its grip all day, been locking up the front tyres on the first lap, so he's trying to get his braking lines as close as possible. As we go back now to the battle for what is now 7th place, this is the car of Darren Jones, who started back at grid and is now to 7th, so great recovery from him ahead of Hodgkin and Miles. So lots of variety here, but Hodgkin's not looking very healthy there, unfortunately. That's a
Mr. Cog.
I think he must have, because he's back up and running now, but he won't be happy with himself there.
How cool is that? I love looking at the front of the GTHO with the driving light covers on in the checkered flag livery on it. That's a ripper. Nice touch there. Really like that. That's definitely period there. Well done, Rodney.
Such a good throwback to what you would see ripping around Mount Panorama and
here
everywhere
is one
around.
of the toughest looking Mustangs you'll ever see, and it's that magnificent all black car. Under brakes here, the 48 looks through. Rodney goes through on Miles. There you go, cubic inches in a straight line and out over the back of the ripple strip. Whoa! Commands a little bit too much more track as he moves over. He knew the 16 was there, that's for sure. Glenn Miles, very experienced racer, and Hodgkins now runs out of track, gives the wall a bit of a slap. Lucky it's in the conveyor belt tyres. There's that black car of Peter Mullerman as well. It is all black. Everything is blacked out on it. Couldn't be anything further from the guy's personality, though. Pete Mullerman, one of the loveliest blokes you'll ever meet, let alone at the racetrack and in the pit and paddock area. Just a top bloke. Goes racing for all the right reasons. Loves it. Loves coming here. It's relaxation for him if 500 horsepower under your right foot in a Mustang is anything to go by. He does a tremendous job in that number 43, and I always stop and have a quick yak with Pete, although it's never a quick yak.
Speaking of relaxation, you'd hope he's pretty relaxed in what would be surely a sauna today.
Yeah, that's right.
30 degrees ambient in an all-black car. You would be baking.
He trains pretty hard too. In fact, this time last year, or maybe even a month or so, 13 months ago, he went off and got himself some serious driver coaching up at Norwell. He had the car in the window, getting good results in that. He just was like, I'm missing something. So he thought, better work on the spacer between the wheel and the headrest, and went and did that and had some good results. But sometimes when the heat starts to get on, and these guys are doing a terrific job. In fact, these guys really cleared away all the way up to turn one, didn't they? And they've just moved away a little bit now from Wilkinson, who was threatening, but they've actually got on with it. Just looking at it on the last lap, Baird did the second fastest lap of the race, his personal best, but it is Darren Collins, no doubt there. He has done the fastest lap, and he's just appearing on the straight now. Back down through the gearbox, Baird. They're on the brakes at about 200 metres out now, with 9 laps completed.
Ooh,
and we are on our final journey around this time round.
Very loose there was the number 21 through turn 1. It was so interesting seeing the difference in lines. Last time through, Baird was all the way out to the outside on the entrance to turn 1, using as much road as possible to just get the fastest line he could. And on the way over to the top here, you could see he was dipping his tyres on the right-hand side dirt to just use as many millimetres as possible. But now he's letting the number 21... it looks like I thought that was an indicator going on. That was just his tow arrow there. No, he's not. They're side by side. Just going to shut the door, but he had to block at turn 1, and he's now blocking. It's a real defensive race here for the number 86. He's doing his best to hold off the number 21 machine behind him.
How good are Flames? Oh. You just know what he's doing. He's cracking down a gear or something like that, or giving the throttle a blip, bit of heel toe work there as well, and just giving the exhaust pipes a big bit of dose of fuel there. The safety there, just running it nice and rich. The cars come around. We've got the time elapsed, and I'm just trying to see. Yes, the checkered flag is at the ready. Andrew Baird led most of the race, and there it is. A nice victory there indeed, and a terrific run there also from Scotty Pearce. They both started on the front row of the grid, and they've finished exactly how they finished in qualifying there as well. So Andrew Baird takes the win over Scott Pearce. Ben Wilkinson is the next one through, who was in with a shot. Darren Collins, he will certainly make sure he's in with a shot, with 2 more races for the historic touring cars coming up tomorrow. Matty, they'll be on at 11:45 and then again at 3:55. So if these magnificent historic touring cars toot your horn, make sure you're at the track for that, as we see Monday coming through there as well. Not chicken at all, it says on his rego chicken, but that was nothing to do with a chicken there. He was burning it up. I guess if it was a chicken, it was a very well roasted one coming back onto the straight there, and they bring it to the line. Monday, Peter Muleman, a little bit of a lonely finish there in 6th for Pete Jones, and Glenn Miles, Rodney Hodgkin, and Stern, who hasn't got to the line.
No, I think Stern, he's only completed 5 laps compared to the 10 of the cars in front. Yeah. So he's had to pull over and DNF somewhere on the track. And Michael Morcelli, as we spoke about earlier, also was not able to finish the race, unfortunately. But 9 finishes in the end, mostly scot-free. There was a couple of scrapes on the side of the Hodgkin car, particularly, that we saw as it went off the track at turn 4, but he was still giving it full gas at the end there, as we saw, really hanging the back of that Falcon out. Let's have a look now. So this is a little bit earlier, that same battle. So there's the number 48 Falcon on the left of screen, just pushing Glenn Miles into the dirt a little bit there. Didn't contact him, no harm, no foul, and then Karma came back, laser guided immediately, and he's had to he's understeered and just nudged the tyres through turn 4.
It's pulled a lens out of the back there as well. I want some grainy black and white footage of that. Come round round 1 and down to 2 there. That is just absolute snapshot of touring car racing here at Sandown International. And there's the lens that came out of the back of this car. This was our 2 leaders. They battled it out right throughout that one. In the end, it was Baird, Pearce, Wilkinson fill the podium for this one. We're not too far away from seeing the improved production cars, who absolutely thrilled us at Phillip Island at the end of 2025 with what was arguably the best nationals ever for improved production. They turned it on just like we're doing here. The barbecue being turned on for all the officials around the track at the end of today's racing. Some fantastic volunteers there, looks like from the MG Car Club. cooking it up down there. And Matty D, there'll be a brave person that stands between you and I and something off those barbecues in about an hour's time.
You can't see it, folks, but there's no camera on me, but I am salivating right now. These look absolutely delicious, and I'm starving. So massive thank you to the MG Car Club and all the officials who put these events together. Go down, grab yourselves a feed for a job well done today as well. And enjoy improved production up next with 944 still to come.
Hey, this sort of footage, you don't get this at other levels of motorsport, do you? You don't get live cooking of barbecues for all of our volunteers at the end of today, and the commentary team, and probably the team out of the van as well. But this is what all of those people we see trackside, in race control, in the pit and paddock area, at the end of the day, this is what they get. There'll be a frosty beer somewhere. We haven't seen the frosty beer fridge just yet. Hey, we better jump off. We've got the improved production team just about ready to jump on. Let's see if we can carry on what was an awesome November at the Improved Production Nationals. They'll be on track next. Will be Steve DeVries and Dave Cox.
Welcome back trackside here, everybody, to round number one of the Victorian Trophy Tour, presented by, of course, Wolfchester Trade Shop. Big thank you to them for their support for this round and for all the competitors and all the categories that turned up here this weekend. It is, of course, time for improved production. You can see them rolling out of the marshalling area now onto this beautiful, sunny circuit here in southeastern Melbourne. My name's Steve DeVries and Dave Cox from Improved Production Victoria is right next door to me, Dave. As Darren Smith alluded to, it was such a big event, the Improved Production Nationals in Phillip Island in November last year, and we'd love to keep that momentum going. I think a few people have got a bit of Nationals hangover, though.
Yeah, I think you're right, Steve. It was a magnificent 2025 Improved Production Nationals at the Island, as you said. 100 cars roaring around. We had an absolute fantastic reception from the crowd and everyone on blend line, and it was a really great meeting. And yes, as you're right, let's start off the season. A few people haven't shown up for various reasons, probably burnt their budgets for last year, but we've still got a really good array of cars out there. And just watch this BMW of Andrew Butcher's. It'll look like it's getting eaten up at the start, but trust me, it'll be getting a ripper start, and it will look after its tyres and probably won't have to manage them as hard as what a lot of the V8s will.
Yeah,
It'll be really good to watch.
He's coming into this weekend with some good form that he's carrying over from the Nationals as well. Like, he had a stellar drive there after being sent to rear of grid and drove all the way through, and pretty much, second, in one of the heat races. So he drove very well in the final as well. So he's a man in form as well as the car. You mentioned the tyres. We will get onto that topic in a few moments' time. We will quickly run through this grid here just to give you an idea of where things sit. So Luke Gretschkambo and Ian McLennan, the two good mates on the front row of the grid. Right behind them, Andrew Butcher in the BMW and Danny Timewell in the VF Commodore. Then Jamie Augustine, the first of the turbo cars, the Nissan Silvia. He's going to be starting alongside Royce Lyon. Brad Wyatt in the Commodore, next door to Rohit Saini in the HSV GTS, and then the first of the under 2 litre cars and a mile clear of the others, Callum Jensen starting 9th right next door to Bruce Henley. Then behind them, Grant Ogle in the XR5, Chris Bodale in the EA Falcon. You've got Wayne Decker in the Audi, Scott Appledore in the Hyundai Lantra. You then got the XLs of Lee Seelenmeyer, Travis Mitchie and Carly Fleming are the next 3. They're punctuated by Michael Hopp in the little Suzuki Swift, Brad Ross in the Falcon, and then bringing up the 20th spot on the grid is Peter Fleming in his XL.
It's looking like a very good grid. I noticed that a lot of the guys after qualifying were doing a lot of changes to their car. I know Luke had clutch going on and Macca as well. Danny Timewell's had quite a few things that they had to look at the car, and Jamie Augustine also. But here we go, we're getting ready for a start.
Kerrison Design and Mechanical sponsoring this one for Improved Production Race number 1. We get things underway. There's a lot of tyre smoke, I think, from row 2 and row 3 of the grid as the number of drivers just spool up the revs and spool up the turbo in the case of Jamie Augustine, and they plunge towards turn number 1. Looks like it's a fairly stock standard start for most of the drivers here. Where they started on the grid is precisely where they are as they enter turn number 1. So all stations as they were as they pour into the opening couple of corners here. Rohit Saini taking a good look at Royce Lyon at turn number 1. He's gained a spot there over Brad Wyatt.
I think a few of the guys are just taking a little bit easy on this first lap. Rowett's gone, no, I'm having a crack. And he's made up quite a number of spots off the start there. But everyone's just decided, let's just see how these tyres go. It's our first race meeting on the new Bridgestone. Let's just see how it goes, and let's not burn them in the first lap. So done a great job, everybody, and Jamie's a little bit of a wiggle there as they hit the brakes going down into Dandenong Corner.
Yep, as they come up and over the top of turn 6 for the first time. Well, that's a bit wide from Rohit Saini there in the background as the number 5 of Augustine now being harassed by the number 4, the much lighter entry there in the BMW E30 of Royce Lyon. Such a diverse field of improved production cars this weekend, as there is nationally. And that was one of the big challenges when we exited a 25-year arrangement for a control tyre at the end of last season, and we welcome in this year the Bridgestone Potenza RE71 RS. Bridgestone's performance range. It's a street-legal semi-slick tyre, and it is something that a lot of drivers are going to have to get used to over the course of this weekend. It's one of the big talking points. There's such a variety of cars that they've all got to do something a little bit different. They've had some track support this weekend from a number of Bridgestone engineers and PR people that are here this weekend to oversee what's going on and really offer as much advice as possible. And the biggest advice they've been given is, I think, Dave, you and I talked about this a little while ago, take it cautiously. Don't make too many big changes too early. Set yourself a bar and make very small changes from there and see how you go. Don't make too big changes in one big jump.
Looks like Jamie's coming under pressure there from Royce, and it looked like a tiny little bit of tyre rub on the back there, which is not going to help Jamie's tyres, and they'll get overheated rather quickly. So let's just hope that that's not a sign of things to come with more. But Royce has really climbed all over the back of the Sylvia at the moment. But it's also good to see, just in the background there, Brad Wyatt. He's having a really good run. They had alternator problems and battery problems this morning. And it's great to see that they're back out there and travelling along rather nicely at the moment.
That's
Brad Ross.
Brad Ross, and he was at the tail of the field. Something's let go there. I can't tell if it's, I don't believe it's a tyre. It looks like it's mechanical. Something was bouncing across the road. So the tyre's rubber normally doesn't bounce very far. So something's let go on that beautiful BF Falcon up the back chute.
And it looks like Royce Lyon's finally got the better of Jamie Augustine and managed to get through there in turn 1. And Jamie looks like he may have slowed dramatically there.
He has. He's lost quite a lot of ground here. He was talking to me before the race started about he's got this unorthodox driving style that he needs to use to try and get the best performance, not out of himself, but also out of the car. And I think maybe something might have let go on the car there.
Yes, it looks like
Jamie Augustine, but also looking here at the Brad Ross number 30 machine, it's either a tail shaft or a half shaft or something is there. Something is mechanic's gone. Oh, and Jamie's actually got more than just the driving style problems. He was off the road there at turn number 3.
Rallycross.
Yeah, the rallycross a little bit. Jamie's one of the competitors that's sort of been having a little bit of a hard time just trying to work out how to get the best out of the tyre, because he's the only the second of 2 turbo cars that's in the field. The other one, of course, is the front wheel drive turbocharged XR5 there of Grant Ogle. But in Jamie's case, he's a rear-wheel drive turbo, so trying to get the right power, to get the turbo to spool up, to get the right amount of traction and be able to manage it off some of these slow corners like turn 4 and turn 9 is really a challenge for him on this new rubber. So different strengths and weaknesses for different cars, and a lot of learning going on here at round number 1 for Improved Production Victoria. They're not the first Improved Production group in the country to test the new RE71 RS. That honour actually went to Tasmania 2 weeks ago at Baskerville with about 16 cars turning up. But fair to say, at Baskerville it's very, very different to Sandown.
Absolutely. It's we've got Scott Appledore out in his new car for the year. It's got a detuned engine in it to make it last. He hasn't quite got his race engine ready, and it's good to see that it's quite reliable, and he's having a great time there.
He's up in there behind Wayne Decker. I actually ran into him at Picket Part a couple of weeks ago. He was the week before we had the presentation event. He was down there trying to get a couple of bits and pieces. I was doing a wheel alignment, a couple of bolts broke, so he actually went down there to salvage a couple of bits. And I guess that's ingenuity, isn't it? You just got to have a bit of a look around and go, where can I get something quick and where can I get something cheap in some cases?
We're just having a look at the timing monitor, and the boys out the front are still tracking very closely together here. They don't just come on the screen as Mac is riding behind Luke. They haven't separated too much. They've been able to hang around, and they're running around the low 17, so they're punching out some really good times, and they must be just giving the tyres a little bit here and a little bit there just to make sure that they're going to survive, and we'll be able to get some really good data after this race, and these guys are really having a crack. But it'll be interesting to see in another couple of minutes that with Andrew Butcher whether his tyres stay nice and he can actually make a decent inroad. Now they're coming up onto some lap traffic.
Well, here comes Butcher. He just rounded up one of the XLs there. I think it was Peter Fleming as he rounds up the back chute. He'll next come across the Suzuki Swift there of Michael Hopp. So he's still about 10 seconds or so, about 6 seconds, sorry, I'm looking at the wrong time there. About 6 seconds behind these two on screen, but Butcher was happy. He was sort of saying, if I can hold fourth, he would be happy. He was actually fully expecting to be overhauled by Danny Timewell, and at the moment he's got a good 4 seconds or so on Danny. So tracking a little bit ahead of expectations as the faster front runners now lap the XLs. Good observation there. Just being predictable, staying to the right-hand side of the circuit, which is the racing line, and letting the faster cars do the work. Don't do anything that upsets the rhythm of those drivers in front.
It's so good to see that the XL drivers that we have in our category are so aware of what their surroundings and what's coming. They know that after 4 or 5 laps they're going to have half a dozen cars bear down on them. So they're really aware of that, and they're really credit to the guys and girls out there to run their own race, but they also know that they're going to get rounded up, and they keep an eye out for it. So congratulations to every single one of them.
That's right, and they picked up on that so early. A lot of the XL drivers have only come into the category in the last 12 months, and that was the first thing that they noticed, is that they had to be more aware of what was going on. They were also surprised just how aware everybody else in Improved Production was about what was going on around them, and that's what really lifted their
spirits. And now we're going to see that it come to the fore, was Wayne Decker's about to get rounded up by Luke, and he'll just hold his line, and then Luke will be able to zoom on past, and then so will Macca. Yeah. So Macca's going to have to thread the needle there, and certainly does, and he's probably made up probably stayed about the same from Luke, so they're both doing pretty well.
They certainly are. They've negotiated that lap traffic really, really nicely. Come on the front chute again. They're going to chalk up lap number 6, and the next car ahead of them is the number 128 EA Falcon, belonging to Chris Bodale, who's about 4 or 5 seconds up the road in advance of the GC Electrical number 25 and the Pro Cup Monaro number 115. As Wayne Decker now, he sort of put that battle on hold with Scott Appledore for a few minutes to let the faster cars go through. And he's giving him a little bit of something to think about here. He's looking left, he's looking right, he's making Scott pick those defensive lines. And as you said, Scott's got that slightly detuned engine in the Hyundai Lancer at the moment. But he's got to keep his wits about him here, because Wayne Decker gets close in a couple of spots where I don't think Scott would probably be expecting him to get that close.
No, I don't think he would have. And as you can see, Butcher's now ranging up on the back of him and should round him up by the top of the hill as Chris Bodale just moves out of the way and lets the guys continue on their merry way. And Macca's not going to die wondering, so he's going to give this a red-hot go in the last 3 minutes of this race. And if there's anything left to give, he's going to give it, and who cares what happens to the tyres? He's just going to send it.
That's exactly right. So he'll probably turn the wick up a little bit. The defending State Series champion from 2025 will give it up to all he's got, actually, to a man who's won the state championship on multiple occasions, in Luke Gretsch-Cumbo.
And don't worry about Luke. He's not going to leave anything on the table either. That thing will be ringing its head off.
Yep, Luke will definitely give it all he's got as well. It'd be interesting to see how the tyres are looking when they come in after a run of sort of 10 laps or so. That's the direction that we're tracking at the moment, somewhere around a 9 or 10 lap journey, which is usually the norm in improved production. For the front runners, that got a little bit close there. In actual fact, it got too close. A little bit of some shards went flying there. I can't tell if it was the rear tail light on the Fleming machine or if it was the front headlight. There you go. Well, there's the evidence. It's the front headlight on the Michael Hopp number 55. Just got a little bit too deep in the braking zone there and gave the little XL of Carly Fleming there a little bit of a love tap. And we can say love tap because it's Valentine's Day, of course.
Yeah, you better be careful.
You've got to be careful. Yeah, we've got to be careful, though. You're absolutely right. So they're actually going to get rounded up by the under 2 litre leader in Callum Jensen at the moment, who's having a stellar run in that the number 242 Peugeot as he roars down the front straight here. And there's Jamie Augustine, who we saw doing that little bit of rallycross going through turns 2 and 3 a little bit earlier in the race.
And it's great to see that the under 2 litre car of Jensen is actually in the top 7.
He has had a very, very good start. Qualified pretty well. Admittedly, he said he was a little bit slower than his practice times yesterday, but he's actually tracking along quite nicely. He's consistently in the 125s. His best is a 124.1. So he's just found that nice little rhythm and that nice little sweet spot, and at the moment just continuing on quite happily in there in 7th place, and he's got quite a nice little handicap over Jamie Augustine, but he's not going to catch the HSV GTS in front of him of Rohit Saini.
Mac has made up a little bit of time on Luke in this lap, and is coming up to a lot of lap traffic now, so this is going to really help Macca range up on the back of Luke if he has to lift for any reason. So Luke will have those high beams flashing like crazy, showing, yeah, I'm coming, let me through. So, and that's going to help Macca range right up on the back of him. And there we go, right in the Dandenong corner as we speak.
Absolutely. So Grand Ogle, the XR5 will stay to the driver's right, gives the preferred racing line here to the two good mates who are going to have a little bit of a duke out here, I think, over the course of the remaining 2 laps. They're going to get to the line with about 6 or 7 seconds remaining, so they should inherit an extra lap. Yep, no last lap board out, so probably another 2 laps of the journey to go. And there you go, look at that, flash, flash, flash madly on the headlights on the front there for Luke Gretsch-Cumbo, making sure the likes of Bruce Henley and Michael Hopp and all the others that are in the queue ahead of them can see them coming. And not only that, they can probably feel them coming, such as the rumble here.
I reckon Macca's eyes were like dinner plates coming into turn 1 there. He was really standing on the brakes hard to try and make up a move into turn 1 on Luke, but didn't quite have the pace. And as Brad White moves over, and they'll let them go up the back straight.
To give you an idea how far through the field they are, Brad White is currently 10th. That's how many cars they've lapped so far in a 20-car field in the course of 9 laps. They have lapped half the field.
Oh, that's very tight there between Jamie and Rohit. Nicely done, boys.
Into turn 6 we go, plunging down the hill. Penultimate lap we expect this to be, and 1 more to go. And as you called it, Dave, Mac is starting to turn up the wick just a little bit here. He's started to apply the pressure. He's been quite content to sit there for the better part of 8 or so laps, and he's now starting to dance around in the mirrors of the number 25 GC Electrical Senator as we go into the final chicane and onto the front straight for the second last time, as we expect. Let's see if they're holding out the last lap board this time around, and indeed they are.
And Jamie goes down deep in the brakes into turn 1 and manages to get Rohit there going through turn 1, and here comes Luke. Oh, we have a bit of a lock up there from one of the XLs as they go into turn 1. They probably just overshot the marker there.
Yep, that was Lee Sealamai with a little bit of a moment there. Travis Mitchie, the 717, stays as far to the right as he possibly can to let these 2 members of the General's Men Brigade go through. Now down to turn number 4. The former champion of this category holds the lead for the moment. If you can hold it up over the top and get a little bit of a margin, perhaps coming out of turn number 4, like exactly what he's done just there, he should be able to make this one to the finish line without being under siege.
Luke will be calculating under his helmet that he's going to catch up to these guys and hopefully get them in the right place so he can pass them and not get held up to allow Macca to get back on his tail.
He's got some good margin here, though, as well. He's not being inhibited down into turn number 10. And it's just the last chicane to go. And, in fact, it's actually Callum Jensen who's the next one in the line. So he's going to come up with a nice little bit of clean real estate when he needs it most. Not going to cause any problems for car number 25. He's going to greet the checker flag first here for Kerrison Design and Mechanical Service. And Ian McLennan right on his tail, right behind him, 1 second behind. Good lapping from both of them. They're both solidly in the 17s, 18s and 19s. So a very consistent performance from all the pair of them. And that includes getting through the lap traffic.
They certainly did. I see Luke's got his door open there. He must be trying to get some cool air in there because I'm pretty sure.
Oh, I'm wondering if he's...
he's a fairly hot boy. I reckon it would have been pretty hot in that car.
Yep, certainly would have been.
The tyres obviously held up pretty well because Butch didn't make too many inroads like we thought he would. It stayed pretty much as they qualified, and I don't believe Danny Timewell. We didn't see a lot of Danny during the race, so they're continuing on around on a cool down lap by the look of it.
Certainly are. So Danny Timewell home for fourth there behind Andrew Butcher. Royce Lyon in fifth, so he eventually got past Jamie Augustine. So Jamie's actually going to get home for sixth place. He's actually that far behind. He's actually going to be coming probably onto the front straight in the next few seconds or so. Yep, here he is, right on cue. Coming round the final couple of corners just in front of the Audi there, Wayne Decker, and then Rohit Saini in seventh and Callum Jensen in eighth. So all the way down to eighth place is where the lead cars, or the cars that remained on the lead lap, got to. So everybody up to ninth from the rear of the field. So it's Bruce Henley in ninth, Grant Ogle in 10th and beyond. They were lapped by the race leaders. I actually reckon that Ian and Luke have missed a trick there, because back in the day, off at turn number one to the right-hand side where they are, that's how they used to come back into the pits. They don't do that anymore.
Right.
So that's why I think they've gone down there. So also, we're just getting some word. It looks like maybe they've pulled off to turn number one because potentially there might be a little fuel issue going on with the GC Electrical Senator. So we hope that's nothing serious.
I think it might be more like fumes, Steve.
Possibly, yeah. So it could be a fume thing. So yes, that explains why the door might be open. Pull over for the nearest possible point. And I think maybe Ian just followed maybe to make sure he was okay. So, but back in the day, that's exactly where they used to come off the circuit.
Yeah, no, I think Luke looked like he was a bit crooked. He's hanging his head out the window. So I think might have had some fumes. I noticed that on the dummy grid that they had a little bit of a weep from the clutch master cylinder, so maybe that may have put a bit more smoke in there.
Well, we'll see how he goes. Hopefully everything should be okay. Great job by the safety crews and the recovery crews down there just to push that car out to the side. Luke, we've been told, is out of the car and is okay, so that's a good sign. And we'll wait to get some more info on what's happening down there as they try and get that car back to the pits. You can see there is Luke just helping to hold the bonnet open. As we can see down the entry road from the marshalling area. So if you've never seen a part of Sandown before where they line the cars up before they go to the track, that's exactly where they put them. It's nothing glamorous. It's just a little section with some car parks at a 45-degree angle, and they call all the competitors and say, please report to marshalling. And when you hear that in the pit and paddock, that's exactly where they are here at Sandown, just behind the pit building there, and that little return road that brings them onto the pit lane and then out onto the circuit. So that's who the last category is that's about to come up in the Porsche 944s. We will leave it there. Big thank you, Dave, for joining me for improved production. We'll see you a little bit later on during the weekend, I take it?
Yeah, no worries, Steve. Thank you. It's great to be back, and it's great to be the home of horsepower, and obviously Horsepower won today. So everyone rest up, have a great afternoon, and see you all back tomorrow around about lunchtime for the two final races for improved production, and then we're off to Calder.
Certainly is. So Calder Revived, of course, is the next round on the calendar after Sandown. That takes place on March 20th to 22nd, and that is, of course, brought to you by 888 Home Loan. So great to have them on board for season 2026 as well. We'll take a short break here, and then it will be over to Joey Kellick and Matt Dunlop for the last race of the day here with the Porsche 944s.
Well, folks, here at the Wolfchester Sandown Challenge, we've made our way down to Trade Alley where we've got quite the Wolfchester activation. And to join us and talk to us more about Wolfchester is John. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. But more importantly, thank you for jumping on and supporting the Trophy Tour.
Mate, you're welcome. We're actually first one out for the season, and boys aren't here, so they're actually up in Bathurst. So all this, we take credit, not them. No Trent, no Glenn. This is the guys. So yeah, we're pretty wrapped. It's a great setup, and yeah, we're happy, being one of the main sponsors for this weekend, and looking forward to having a really big day tomorrow.
So tell us about Wolfchester and the product ranges for vendors, for customers. Tell us about the Wolfchester story.
Okay, so we're an Australian-owned company. We manufacture in Australia, which is great, and we're really proud of that. We do automotive and industrial consumables, so across the board we do pretty much everything from your fasteners right through to toilet paper. So, we do everything right across the board. And like today, we brought a lot of our products that we do have on board are specific for race day, for the race cars. If you go across and you look at some of the products, you can see that we've got like your RTVs, we've got your, brake cleaner, which, look proud of that one. That's manufactured here in Dandenong, actually. So it's only around the corner. So, yeah, we've got a full range of products, and we don't only do, for the racing component, we do across the board and everything from transport, agriculture, mate, you name it, we do it.
So obviously aligning with Trophy Tour, you've got quite the captive community, a lot of participants here who would be purchasing your product. So you'll be seeing your fair share of the races, the mechanics, all those people coming throughout the weekend. Yeah.
Actually, they're first day, and most of the guys that we did sell to today are all off, from that race. They've come over, they've bought hand cleaners, they've bought, like a lot of them have bought gloves. We manufacture our own gloves as well. So, for the average, Joe Blow down the road to the top end mechanic, So, yeah, the guys have been good. They've been very supportive, which I'm pretty happy about that. Yeah.
Look, thank you so much for jumping on board, supporting the Sandown Challenge, Wolfchester Sandown Challenge, the inaugural event for the Trophy Tour as we launch into 2026.
Go get them, Wolfies.
And what a first day of the Wolfchester Sandown Challenge and the Trophy Tour Victoria it's been. We've got one more race coming up this afternoon with Porsche 944 making its debut for 2026 here at Sandown Raceway, and it's going to be a classic. I always like to talk up the 944s, but Joey Kellick, as you know, they always produce the goods.
They don't need talking up. They are an incredible category. Very excited. I'm so excited. I'm levitating. I'm off my chair, levitating, hovering in this commentary box. I'm so excited.
It's true. I'm looking at him. That's exactly what he's doing. Matt Dunlop is my name as well. And we are just getting set to go for the last race of Saturday's action here at Sandown. If you're around Melbourne, you've enjoyed what you're watching so far, and you've got no plans for tomorrow, come on down. Come and watch it. It's going to be a perler of a day. I've been saying it so much today. I feel like a broken record, but this weather's been beautiful today. 29 degrees, 30 degrees.
What's the weather looking like tomorrow?
Pretty much identical tomorrow. Ooh. So it's going to be perfect for it. And it's such a good place to come and watch motorsport here at Sandown. So, yeah, I definitely recommend coming on down for day 2 of the Wolfchester Sandown Challenge. And it's going to be a bumper day. Starting at 9:10 a.m., we'll be live with cars rolling here on Blendline TV as well, racing all the way through to the end of the day with back-to-back racing all the way throughout. We're going to have, starting off with Saloon cars tomorrow, will be the first cab off the rank, and then it goes into Hyundai XLs, MG and invited British sports cars, sports sedans, Formula V, Formula Ford, historic touring cars, improved production, Porsche 944 Challenge. In that order, will all be coming out for their feature race, Race 2, and that's all before lunchtime. Then they come out and do it all again. They all get one more go around, and that takes us out to 5 p.m. So it's going to be a bumper of a day. So we've got 1 minute left to go before we've got cars rolling out. So all the drivers are sitting in the dummy grid at the moment, just getting a bit of an eye, and just sort of the anticipation's building. Joey, as someone who's, as you said to me just self-admitted earlier, absolutely itching to get back out in the car as you're not out racing this weekend, unfortunately. But it's always great to have you in the comms box. But what's the mood like when you're sitting in the dummy grid? It's the first race of the season. You've been wanting to get into this for months. What are those drivers going to be feeling right now?
It doesn't matter how many times in any grassroots race or any racer in any category at any level, will tell you that it doesn't matter how many times you've done it, the butterflies, the anticipation, it is the best feeling. It's just such an extreme level of excitement, of focus. I find myself trying to shed the distractions, trying to shake off any thoughts that aren't about the job at hand, and just really hone in on what it is you're trying to achieve. And whether you're sitting in that dummy grid with particular goals or particular ideas or boxes that you want to tick, whether it be qualification or whether it be practice or whether it be your race or whatever, you're honing in on those. And it's just awesome. And like sitting there in that dummy grid, waiting for the 1 minute pause, waiting for the flag to go so you can start your engine. The frustration builds. The longer you sit there, the anticipation grows and grows and grows. And these guys have just been given the go. They're out for their sighting lap, and this is going to be really exciting. They are pumped. First race of the season. It just doesn't get much better than this.
17 minutes of 944 challenge action about to come your way, folks. And we're seeing the cars out on track and getting as much temperature into those tyres as they possibly can. Let's have a quick look through the grid here. It's a bit of a truncated grid compared to what we're used to in 944s, with a few drivers not being able to make it out this weekend. An 11-car field, but don't let that make you think that there's going to be any less action on track, because it is going to be non-stop all the way throughout this race. So
yeah, it's going to be action-packed. It's interesting, the track temps and conditions today. There hasn't been a lot of running over this period since the end of the last season, there's the quali times are a little slower than they were last year. We've got some dark horses unexpectedly higher up in the quali results this time round. I think there's going to be some argy-bargy in the top to mid-pack. We've got Chris Lewis-Williams down in 7th. We've got Mark Torberts up in 2nd. We've got Carter Fox in between there. Adam Brewer in 1st. Westway 3rd. Bella in 4th with a bit of a brake issue in quali. So he's a little lower than he would normally expect him to be. Lyndon Watson, so great to have him back. He's got the best-looking car in the field. It's awesome to see him back. It's amazing watching all these cars. They look fantastic at the start of the season, don't they? They've all had a bath. They've all had a polish. They all look fantastic. All except for Cameron Bella's car, which looks like the creature from the Black Lagoon.
Rolled it straight back off the trailer the way that it was after the last race of last season. With the number 1 on the door, was 6-time reigning champion, and we go back further through the grid. So Chris Lewis-Williams and Sam Rowe started at 7th and 8th, and there's Michael Westerway, Anthony Westerway, and Andrew Goldman rounding out the field there. So we can see the number 68. That's a personal favourite of mine, that Sam Rowe livery. I'm a bit of a sucker for like a yellow or mustardy colour.
Good-looking car.
There's not many bad-looking cars on the grid as a thing, though. They all look sensational. All really looking very, very good, especially with the LK diesel service plastered on the front bonnet there, making it possible for us to go racing again in 2026.
Yeah, all looking fantastic except for that teal car.
It may not look as smooth and as shiny as the other ones, but I can tell you what, it is one of the fastest 944s anywhere in the world.
It has the fastest driver behind the wheel. Absolutely an incredible talent, Cameron Bella, as we get ready to roll here.
The graphic says 17 minutes, but we do have a shortened 15-minute affair, I've heard in my ear. As a matter of fact, the green flag has already waved at the back of the field, so the revs are going to start to build very, very shortly as we look set to get underway with a great start in the 944 challenge. It's actually a ripper from Adam Brewer, who gets away. Mark Torberts on 2nd position, gets it bogged down a little bit and has been swamped from both sides. So he's got Jamie Westaway on his left, Cameron Bella on his right. He's stuck in the middle with you as Adam Brewer is looking very, very comfortable out in the front there, taking the right racing line all the way through there, and we can see Mark Torberts has dropped down to 3rd, so he's only lost the 1 position there, has El Presidente in the number 66 car. So he'll be a little bit chuffed with that, but not feeling too great about that start, but still rolling in 3rd position. Then we've got the number 50 car of Jamie Westaway in that one. That's going to trip me up as he's tripped up, almost glanced the wall on the way through turn 4, has Jamie Westaway there. Not a car he's used to driving. He's in the car that his dad Tony was campaigning previously up until now. But he's pulled it back on. He hasn't looked to have lost a huge amount of pace, and it looks like he's still got the mirror on that thing as well. So no harm, no foul at this stage. They all line astern across the top of the hill for the first time. It's Brewer from Bella, from Torberts. Chris Lewis-Williams has shot up to 4th position already. What a great start from him from 7th.
Oh, this is fantastic stuff. That was a wild ride from Westaway. He's still got the side of the car looks clean.
Ooh.
Geez, that looks very good. Start of the year, fantastic shape that car looks in.
There does look to be a mirror-shaped hole in the side of that thing, in the side of that door, so I don't know for sure. We'll have to take a look when we can get a better look at it, but that'll wake you up in the morning, that's for sure.
There's a lot of debris flying when he did that. Yeah, he's lost a mirror there. He has literally scraped the mirror. We've got a replay coming here. Surely he makes contact. Oh, no, he started without a mirror.
He didn't even have the mirror to begin with. He saw it coming. He knew he was going to be going all the way out there using every square inch of the concrete.
Unreal.
Still powering on is Jamie Westaway in that number 50 machine. So as they cross the stripe for the first time, it's Adam Brewer from Cameron Bella, Mark Torberts in 3rd, Chris Lewis-Williams 4th, Jamie Westaway, Lyndon Watson, Carter Fox number 7 in 7th, and then Sam Rofe, Michael Westaway, Andrew Goldman and Tony Westaway in an unfamiliar car for him as well. He's been trying to get to grips with the car that normally has been campaigned by Andrew Jackman, but that's got Anthony Westaway behind the wheel this weekend.
Yeah, I was a little confused then, trying to work that out. I actually thought it was Tony who almost collected the wall then, but you're right. Jamie and Tony is in the pool master car. Look at this. This is great stuff, seeing Cameron Bella on the back of Adam Brewer. And Torbs, despite his his lackluster start, he is right on the back of those two front guys.
Power is so important this Sandown circuit. These cars don't tip, compared to a lot of the other cars we have here this weekend, they don't have a huge amount of power, but they don't need it because they are so light and nimble and balanced, and that makes them such a joy to watch here at Sandown because the driver has to be fully dialed into his line. Momentum through corners is so important, as is the draft, the toe down the main, big back straight and up the front straight as well. So if you've got a gap like we're seeing here, so this is a bit of a gap with Tony Westaway trying to claw back some time at the front here. It's tricky to get back in that toe if you lose it, but these guys in the front, you can expect to see them jostling quite a bit. Especially Cameron Bella. We know he likes to just sit tight when he's got the pace to go for the win, but he's just going to wait, he's going to bide his time, and he's going to calculate it and make the move at the right time.
It's exactly right, and he did say that he does have some brake issues. The brakes are sticking on, the rear brakes, so he's locking up in sort of an involuntary trail braking situation, which is slowing him down. But I did overhear him talking to Chris Lewis-Williams just before the race, saying that if he still has the brake problem during this race, he is just going to sit behind and do what he can to stay with the front guys, because he doesn't have the confidence into Dandy Road, which he's approaching now, or into turn 1 to make any sort of big moves under that sort of braking situation with that sticking rear brake. But as we can see, he's doing exactly that and staying behind Adam Brewer, as we see Chris Lewis-Williams all over the back of Mark Torberts.
And that confidence in the rear brake is so important, as you mentioned, especially through Dandenong Road. But I think Cameron Bell will be feeling a little bit more comfortable now that he's got a gap behind him, with Torberts just falling a couple of car lengths off the back there. And now the president of the 944 Racing Association has Chris Lewis-Williams all over his rear bumper, and Jamie Westaway wants in on this as well.
Oh, yeah, he is feeling the heat. Chris Lewis-Williams has got the blowtorch on the back of that car. That wrap is going to start melting as we go into turn 1 here, and CLW is looking for it. He's looking for a go, but no, puts it back in behind the bumper, and they'll go in line of stern once more.
Meanwhile, these two had a good drag race up the main straight that time around. Lyndon Watson in the number 5 machine, the Don Watson transport car. Geez, it is a gorgeous livery, isn't it, Joey?
It's a fantastic car. I think it looks so great. It gives me sort of stock car NASCAR vibes. I really love that livery. As we see Carter Fox all over the back of him here. Just a quick word in regards to Carter Fox's car as well. They've had such a tough run over the last couple of years. So many mechanical issues, and unfortunately put it into the wall toward the end of last season. And he's actually was telling me before this race just the sort of the amount of work that they've had to put in as a family. We all know in grassroots racing, there's a lot of limited resources that go into this stuff, or that don't go into this sort of racing. And his old man Ian Fox and Andrew Jackman and their whole team have put in a huge amount of effort to get him back going around the track again this year, and he wanted to make mention of that in particular. So great to see him back out there again. He's doing a fantastic job out there.
It's always a joy to run into that clan and have a chat to them in the paddock. No matter rain, hail or shine, whether they're fast, whether they're not so fast around the track, it's always good to have a yarn with them.
Absolutely.
And it's so good having them around in the field here. As we see, we go back to the battle here this is now third position. So Chris Lewis-Williams has made his way up in front of Mark Torbert's here onto the podium. So Torbert's just losing a little bit of pace there. He'll be looking to claw that back. He doesn't want to shed too much speed here, but now he's going to have to be laser focused on staying on that rear bumper.
Absolutely. He was he went very wide when he made that move, Chris Lewis-Williams, and he was very lucky to get it back in front of Torbert's, and he just parked it in front there.
Oh no!
Carter Fox off the track. Now that's on turn 12. There's a bit of debris there. Car is not moving, but looks like it's intact. Hopefully he's just having a little bit of an issue getting that started again, and hopefully he can get that turned over quickly and get that going.
What a shame for Carter. I fear that you may have orchestrated the worst commentator's curse in history there, Joey.
He asked me to mention a word of thanks, so that is, it's really, I'm not going to claim that.
No, that's fine.
Curse.
You know what? I think that's good. I think you can wash yourself of the commentator's curse in that sense, but what a shame for Carter. And it's probably catching a few drivers by surprise, rocking up on the scene for the first time and seeing a car right there just past the apex of that corner. But everyone's getting past so far. There are double wave yellows out there. Remains to be seen if we'll get a safety car, but we'll keep an eye on that. So with the drivers having that in mind now, they'll probably know that if a safety car does come out, that's probably going to neutralise things for at least a few laps, potentially even the rest of them. There is still a bit of time to go here, but now you've really got to get your foot down. If you've got a passing move that you're thinking about making, you've got to get it done now.
I wonder if, just because it's such a highly visible area that you can see it going into turn 11, if double wave yellows would suffice in that area. I don't know. I doubt it. I reckon I'll probably call. But it's great that they're giving him ample opportunity to get it going. We'll see how that one pans out. As we see Adam Brewer and Cameron Bella, they've pulled a little bit of a gap on Lewis and Torbert's and Westerway there. So I think that's probably got a lot to do with Chris Lewis-Williams making that move on Mark Torbert's and having to sort of park it up and slow that mini pack down.
I think you're basically spot on there, because one of the big things that I've noticed as well is there haven't been many changes for the lead at the front of this race. They've been line astern, first and second, have Brewer and Bella. Now, that white flag is promising because that seems to suggest that Carter Fox has been able to get his car underway. And no, they've got a tow vehicle out, so that thing is indeed marooned, but they are looking like they're going to be able to get the number 7 machine out of there without a safety car. So for the sake of getting this race well and truly run through with no interruption, that is great news.
That is awesome. That's bold and it's awesome. We've got double wave yellows, and it just looks, I reckon they're just going to pull him off to the side of the track, and we get to keep racing.
Brewer's actually pulled a bit of a gap there, even though Cameron Bella is the fastest car with the fastest lap so far in the race with a 1:25.68. Brewer has been able to, that time around, eke out a bit more time there and just pull a couple more tenths on the reigning 6-time champion is Cameron Bella. He's one of to say he's a stalwart of 944 racing is an understatement. He is the prototype 944 racer.
He is the prototype, you're right. He is absolutely incredible. I mean, I think globally, as far as 944 racing around the world is concerned, I'd have to do a little bit of fact-checking, but 6-time grand champion, I mean, it's just absolutely incredible. And he's tested in other things. He's raced in other things. He's been in a cup car before. He is not just fast in one of these cars. He is a legitimately very fast race car driver in anything he gets into.
And it's a genuine privilege to have him and his whole family and the Bella Motorsport outfit running in 944s, because they make it such a community affair. Yep. You'll see the Bella Motorsport, they're more than happy to lend a hand to anyone who needs it. They run a lot of cars under their stable, of course, to the Bella machines, but additionally, a lot of cars, like if you've got another driver who's often like, they need a spare part, even like borrowing an engine or a gearbox, like the Bellas are more than happy to lend a welder, lend a hand, get in there and help get more cars back out on track, even if they're racing each other for race wins.
Absolutely. It's incredible. I mean, I've seen them change, they've changed at Calder a couple of years ago, they changed my gearbox in one race weekend 2 times, and it took them an hour and a quarter or something to do it each time. It's amazing. I mean, this category would not be the same. And look, there's a lot of incredible personalities and groups and families that race this category and all the categories that we present as part of this series. But those guys are one of those families that just really, really sort of bond this category together, and it's a real pleasure to race with them and to have them out here. So it's amazing.
100%. We're looking at one of their machines at the moment, as a matter of fact, the number 66 car, which we've seen being driven by a few people, being driven even into the back of by Jamie Westaway there as well, is that number 66 Pipecraft car. So Chris Lewis-Williams has left him, is completely just walked away now. So it's looking like a little bit of a lonely third place right now for Lewis-Williams, but now we've got an awesome battle for fourth position. Jamie Westaway not having as much pace in that car as he normally would like to have. No. The last lap board is out. Adam Brewer's got the go fast lights on. He is feeling sensational behind the wheel of that number 81 machine out the front of this race. With a gap of 2.2 seconds over Cameron Bella, you would feel pretty good, wouldn't you?
Absolutely. I reckon Jamie Westaway has done himself a disservice by giving Torberts a bump there. I reckon he bumped him so hard he had to get out of it. And now Torberts has got a sort of a 1 second or so lap. And if he can hold that to the end of this lap, he is going to keep that fourth position, which he will be very happy about.
I tell you what, the number 50 car under Jamie Westaway is looking a little squirrely. It's sliding just those little bits on the exit to some of those slower corners. So maybe that's why he doesn't have as much pace as you want. But I tell you who does have pace, buckets of it, Adam Brewer. We've been singing his praises for so long when he was that driver who was in the throws. He was always there or thereabouts around the podium, and he was always super, super consistent. But now it's been so good to see, particularly coming into last year, he's really been just breaking out and just starting to get those race wins. And he has looked sensational so far today. Qualified on pole position with a pretty tidy margin of about 0.4 of a second. And he has converted that to a sensational victory in race one. Has Adam Brewer. What a way to start 2026. Reigning champion Cameron Bella crosses the line in second position with Chris Lewis-Williams third. And that was such a close finish for fourth there. Mark Torberts just hangs on ahead of Jamie Westaway there. There was nothing in it, and they get a round of applause from the spectators nearby. And fair credit to them. That was great racing all the way to the end.
That was just a fantastic race, and great racing from everybody there. So great. First race of the year, first round of the year, fantastic. And Adam Brewer qualifies in first and leads the race the entire time, finishes in first position. These are ominous signs for the rest of the field in 2026. It is a perfect textbook start for Adam Brewer. Is this his year? Is this what he has been waiting for? Because he has been fighting so hard for it. So we'll see in race 2 tomorrow. It's very exciting. I'm very excited to see how this one pans out.
I already know he's going to have a massive smile on his face. So with that, let's have a look at very quickly the final results. It is Adam Brewer ahead of Cameron Bella and Chris Lewis-Williams rounding out your podium. Mark Torberts across the line just ahead of Jamie Westaway for 4th and 5th. Lyndon Watson brought it home in P6 with Michael Westaway in 7th in the number 45 car. Then Sam Rofe, Anthony Westaway, Andrew Goldman, and Carter Fox is a non-finisher, unfortunately. So 10 cars finishing, and with the course car with the green lights flashing, that is it for the racing action. Joey Kellogg, thank you so much for joining me in the box. Looking forward to doing this all again tomorrow, but let's have a quick chat now with Darren Smith and Brett Dickey down in the pit lane.
Thanks very much, guys. A terrific way to finish day one of Trophy Tour Victoria here at Wolfchester Sandown. Round one. Absolute pleasure to introduce a guy I haven't spoken to since he was a guest on the Grassroots Racing podcast. Brett, not a great day at the office, although qualifying on the second row of the grid, your car behind us sands the rear wing and your mate's car right next to it sands the rear wing. What happened?
Yeah, sadly we never want to see two team cars come together, but there was some oil put down from the Lynch Commodore, and sadly I had nowhere to go. So luckily he's okay, got him dead smack in the side of the car. And yeah, he's okay, his car's not. My car's seen better days, but the boys are working flat out now, and we should be right for tomorrow.
Typical Adam Brewer there, giving it a rev as he comes past the TV point. But, mate, you've had a couple of years running at Pikes Peak, a huge experience there. You've also done some stuff with Ferrari in Italy. What's it like coming back home in the family car? We know you and your dad built this, mostly your dad. You do the driving and the damage. What's it like coming back and racing in the Trophy Tour for 2026?
I like how you mentioned the damage, so thanks for that, Darren. Yeah, look, it's always good to come back and run in a state round and have the family here, like you said, and like seeing faces like yourself and familiar faces makes it so much easier racing back home. And yeah, having my daughter here and my son and my dad, and as much as he probably doesn't like working so hard, but yeah, it's always good to run back here. And I think, yeah, the Trophy Tour has definitely stepped it up this year, and looking forward to what the rest of the year has to offer.
Obviously, the officials are making their way back into their barbecue, walking between the camera there as well. I am going to have to wicket keep for you, mate. It is Valentine's Day, and you forgot to mention the wife, so we'll watch that back, and we might have to re-record this. But it's great, yeah, it's great to have the family here, not only racing, but Valentine's Day. Hey, my wife's at home, moving house at the moment, so I'm in the same boat as you.
Yeah, you're a good man.
So tell us about other things in 2026 for Brett Dickey, as much as you can.
Yeah, much as I can. So I head off back, I'll say back, but head off over to Asia in April. Doing something new and exciting over there. I will be doing wheel-to-wheel racing. I can say it's in a production car. I can say it's in a Honda. But that's all I can say at the moment. So.
Well, that'll do. We can colour the picture in during racing tomorrow. Now, as a result of the DNF and parking up down at Turn 2 with Greg, you're off the rear of the grid tomorrow. Short sprint races. You're going to have to go for it from the word go, aren't you?
Yeah, I think the game plan at this point is obviously starting off the back is, yeah, get as far forward as we can to make the final race a little bit easier. But I think, yeah, I'll be pretty happy if we can get in the top 5 at the end of the race.
Brett, thank you very much, mate. It's always great to see the Honda out there, and of course the Gilliland RX-7, the Bollards Direct Honda. It's written on your T-shirt. I can't miss it. The ACL on your cap. Always looking after your sponsors, Brett. An absolute pleasure to have a brief moment with you. Best you get back, and John Reese is looking at your aero there as well. So you've got a few things to do, haven't you, mate?
Yeah, I'll go and see what's not damaged.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for day one of the Trophy Tour 2026. Wolfchester Sandown. Don't forget. Red Hill is open for $10. A full carload. Call a carload a 14-seater coaster bus if you want to. Fill it up. Put the esky in the car with some soft drinks in it. Bring a barbecue and some seats. $10 up there. What value? Come down and join us in the paddock as well. Might cost you something to get back in that gate, but certainly pit, paddock, grandstand, everything is open. Big shout out, big thanks to Wolfchester. Check them out at wolfchestershop.com.au. Catch you tomorrow morning. 9:10 is our first race. See you then.
Well, folks, here at the Wolfchester Sandown Challenge, we've made our way down to Trade Alley where we've got quite the Wolfchester activation. And to join us and talk to us more about Wolfchester is John. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. But more importantly, thank you for jumping on and supporting the Trophy Tour.
Mate, you're welcome. We're actually first one out for the season, and the boys aren't here, so they're actually up in Bathurst. So all this